chicky with the nine. Death on my mind, fall out the sky. I'm out of time, so let me die. I know you dry. Look at my silver my ties like I'm chicky with the nine. Death on my mind, fall out the sky. I'm out of time, so let me die. Falling with the rain, tired of feeling this way. Why is my sky always gray? Can I find the strength to pray? No, I do not feel okay. Darkness is chipping away. Put a smile on my face. I'm just trying to run away. I don't need nobody else, yeah. I just do it, I'm all by myself, yeah. I'ma tell you, you can go to hell, yeah. Cause I don't want it if it's your hell, yeah.
He was all alone from the time he was born. The only things he got from growing up were the will to fight and hatred. There was never anyone to love him.
I know you dry. Look at my eyes, silver my ties like I'm chicky with a nine. Death on my mind, fall out the sky. I'm out of time, so let me die. I know you dry. Look at my eyes, silver my ties like I'm chicky with a nine. Death on my mind, fall out
What it do? What it do?
so let me die. Demons on my shoulder.
Clearly, but what's up?
She called me a monster, do you think it makes me glad? I know I got my problems and sometimes I let them spaz. Get my thoughts are filled with you, PTSD drives me mad. Young say ignore this, darkness is all I have. Feeling all this pain, turn my sadness up a tad. Wearing all this guilt, drive me down, lights on shoulder pads. Light a cigarette, it's time to rain, then flick the fucking ass.
I could. But I was wrong. When I saw him on the monorail, he looked at me like he'd never known me. There was no recognition at all. Like I was some phantom who'd never really
Blah
existed.
blah blah.
Were you in love with him?
I guess I'll never really know. I just know I felt things I've never felt before.
All right.
저 지금 우유 배달해야 되거든요.
Would seem
방해 안 되는 얘기만 할 테니까.
it's over, right? Nope. I didn't know where I was at. I don't know what scene I was on. What's up? How y'all doing? Thank you for the follow. Alina Rosa V3. I saw it. I got all of it. I did it. I made it. How y'all doing though? I wanted to kind of just talk about some did make sure the bot did its job before I even start talking. Nope. You're on. I see you type it. I see you type it, Kazan. You got it? Cause this bot is ghetto. It don't like me. It don't work. It don't want to work. Tomorrow, I wanna. You said whatever the fuck. Whatever the fuck. What's going on, high and low? What's up? What's happening, man? Tomorrow, we're gonna talk some Kubera. If not tomorrow, it'll be Wednesday because there's a couple of threads. There's a thread I want to read and a video I want to react to, which is from it's one guy or one person on YouTube. I want to say his name is Pegasus Ichigoko or something like that. He just does like these random power scaling webtoon related stuff. He's done it for a couple of series and he did one for Kubera up into a certain chapter. I just thought it would be interesting to go through a power scaling video for Kubera because I never really thought about it. And yeah, we'll see if they're right. We'll be the judge. With we have the knowledge, so we'll let them know. But did you let them know? Show up because yeah, it's time. It's time. Anyway, did I even tweet it? I'm a mess today. I'm full of love. That's why. I'm not thinking. There you go. I did tweet it. I'm good at what I do. But anyways, power skip for Cabrera seems mad complicated. That's why I think it'll be interesting. I think we just know like Anata. Then the Primeval gods, like where we put them, I just think it'll be interesting. It'll be fun. But there's also some other things I want to read. What's up, Ashu? How you doing, bro? How you doing? Just out of curiosity, have you guys been enjoying the visuals of the recent videos? I've been kind of new computer. I got two new editors I've been using, and I've been kind of enjoying it. So I don't know, because I feel like they look a lot better. My visuals. So all right, good. I wanted to make sure because editor Naya's back. No more like me just being lazy on cam. I have three jobs and have to work out twice a day. Don't have time. I'm in the lab now. I'm editing. I'm doing my thing. Okay. I'm learning a little bit about manipulating keyframes. Shout out to my guy Townsy. Give him a follow. Give him a like. Give him a subscription. But yeah, he taught me about the kind of having to manipulate keyframes. And the fact that this laptop is new and can handle multiple things in my different tracks and tell without it going. We're making progress, yo. Making progress. Shout out to Young Sleep. I feel that. They look more professional. All right, that's what I'm going for. I'm gonna start cutting out my mistakes though. I'm probably speaking a little more streamlined just so like I don't, cause I kind of just press record and I talk. And most things that I speak about, I'm knowledgeable enough that I could just do it. So, but I'm happy. I'm happy you guys have joined the upgrades. I even like the Patreon screen that I have and stuff. I think the first one I ever did came out today when I recorded Kubera back in like January. That one was ghetto. The new ones look better. But I also have a new opening stuff coming out, so it's gonna be lit. How far has Talented gotten in Kubera? You got any clue? I think he's done the second season. I think he has to start season 3. My understanding is that he wanted to make a Kubera video, but he wasn't sure about how Naver and Line Webtoons kind of strike and do copyright things. So I kind of set him straight. So he should be good now. I think Satsuki is caught up. I'm gonna get Satsuki to have a conversation with him soon. It's just schedules lining up, and I have to check with Milios again. I don't know where Milios is at, but we'll get to that. But yeah, what's up, Zodiac? How you doing, bro? Lost Child, how goes it, man? Yeah, Sasuke, he's going crazy. I love it. Once I get my money around on the Patreon, I need to review the Cloud Murray slander again. We're here for that. We're here for that. Whenever you guys have it, I'm not one of those people. I know sometimes you just don't have it right then and there, so it is what it is. But I'm glad that you guys have been enjoying the visuals of the recent videos because I actually put a lot of time and effort into editing them like more intently now. Now that I can do it, I'm going to do it. The problem with last year is I had to rely on Facecam a lot because I didn't have the time to really. But also my computer was trash, and now my computer's not trash. We're making some upgrades. I even have a different mic and everything. So yeah, Milius has completed season 1 and 2. Like the Jets, okay. I'm gonna have to. All right, you lurking? Let's get it. But anywho, I do want to talk about. We'll start positive. Let's start positive today. We'll start positive. I'm still not Common Tower God. Why is Chamara a clown? Um, we just don't like him. It's not even that he's a bad character or something. I'm not a fan of him, but I haven't been a fan of Traumare before I knew who he was because of the story of Elaine and what the Lopobia family did to her. I'm not effing with any of them, so it's just one of those ones. But yeah, it's a Ross thing, and I don't want to spoil anyone. It's not a Ross stream. 2 more weeks, and then we'll be back with a Raw stream. But I wanted to take this opportunity to talk about our favorite and what we think the best fights in Tower of God are, and then some of the worst ones are the ones that we're not too fond of. Because I picked the two that I thought I want to pick, and I didn't even pick my favorite ones. I would say or favorite examples. No, I did for the worst fight. And by the way, I'm about to say this here and today. I put out a set of 2 videos. The worst moment in Tower God, the best moment in Tower God. The best fight in Tower God, the worst fight in Tower God. Hey, which one did y'all niggas watch more? Oh, you're being negative. Oh, no. Which one did y'all niggas watch more? When I was being positive? Or when I had some shit to get off my chest? Interesting. Just interesting. That's all I'm saying. I know how it works. Hatred, hatred, the dark side, it feels good sometimes. I understand. That's all right. Look at them lurking with the hatred in their heart. You said, "Look, I watched both." To look at me. You said, "I watched both, bro, all the way through." But anyway, Traumray, the TOG equivalent of Ganhavara, as for a lot of people. Jeez, already, eh? I watched the best one because that time was peak TOG for me. I feel that. I'm not mad at that. See, that's not my favorite fight, but I think it's probably I think you can make the case it's the most iconic, most important fight of the series, and that's why I went with that one. My favorite fight is actually Rand versus Inieto, if not Rand versus Anak. It's one of those two. Classic. I got my reasons, but I want to know what your guys' favorite fights were. I want to talk about y'all because I picked mine. I didn't pick mine. I picked Dajaha versus Bam, but I didn't even say everything I wanted to say in the video because I was strapped for time a little bit, but it really is a good moment. And I think for a lot of it you had to be there when it was happening weekly before the advent and the boom of Fast Pass, right? So Fast Pass made discourse and discussion a lot harder to do, but yeah. What's up? What's up, Vince? You hopping in? You can hop in if you want. Let me know. Anything involving Rand? I mean, yeah, my favorite three fights, two Rands and two of them is JVG, the Jovial Grace fight with Kaiser and Name Hunter in the lane. So Bam versus Elaine. I like the way that he was on the blue orb, bobbing and weaving through her weapon needle inventory. I thought it was really well done. Finir comes with the bites. He had those like sweeping kicks. I thought it was clean. I like that moment. And I like and it ties into one of my favorite Tower of God character moments, and one that comes a little bit before that. So like I have my reasoning, my personal reasoning for it, but I didn't want to put too much emphasis on that fight because ultimately I think Bam kind of smoked there. It was just a little wolf thing he had to deal with. It wasn't really a fight. He was stronger. You know what I'm saying? Um, you will? Okay. I'm hopping Discord. I hope it works because I've been having some audio issues. So we should be good though. My favorite fight is, as I said, is Yuri versus Karaka. It's just out of nowhere and the raw thing that happened in Tower got to that point. I could feel that. I actually watched both. Actually, for a second, I thought I only watched the worst. Oh, Abdel, my guy. He out here watching all the content. You love to see it. I'll be in boardroom. Yeah, Vince is not gonna work because I didn't even hear the sound effect, bro. It's not gonna work. I'm not gonna be able to hear him. That's crazy. I don't know what I did with this shit. Yeah. Hold on, Vince. I'm gonna have to find a way for me to hear you because I'm not gonna be able to hear you. I don't know why my Discord does this sometimes, but it's stupid. But give me a sec. I'm gonna see if I can figure this out. Whew. Now, does anybody know how to do things? No, I didn't mean to do that. Jin stuff with the cabin was great, especially considering neither of them was that bloodlust and didn't really want to kill each other. Last train station guardian. I mean, top three fights are Nak versus Ram versus Elaine and Yuri versus Karaka. I'm not mad at either of those choices. I like all of those.
Oh, do you, dude?
Wait, I can hear Glam.
You
That's 'cause
can
of me.
hear Glam.
Oh, I can hear you too. There we go. I
There
thought
you go.
I thought I couldn't hear nobody. I didn't even do anything. We were just not talking.
Yeah,
Well,
we
you
just
said
not talking.
you said hold on, so I didn't say nothing.
Yeah, I didn't say nothing. I just came in here to make my one joke. Then I'll wait for you to finish.
Stream, can y'all hear them? I don't even know if they can hear you.
Hey, how you doing, Vince?
What's going on, Glam?
I'm chilling, bro.
Can y'all hear them? Yeah, they can hear you. I can see you taking my
Okay,
screen now.
cool,
Let's
cool, cool.
go. Did I solve the
Forcing this
issue?
man to do technical edits.
Okay, but how come none of y'all picked the Mule Love fight? That's what I want to know. See, it was a
Bam
trap.
versus Mule Love.
It was a trap.
OG.
It was a trap.
OG.
None of y'all picked.
Oh.
None of y'all picked Mule Love, and now I'm offended. So now we got to fight. Why? I didn't even pick it. I don't even know why.
Not
You know
picking
what?
Mule Love is a microaggression.
That's how you should be offended. You didn't pick the classic Jing Sung versus Caliban. Don't you
Oh,
know that was a
God.
modern classic?
When he said he's a technician, I remember.
Me too.
That was not. It was alright. It was alright. I don't dislike it. It's just not. You
Nah,
can't
bro.
call your own fight a
Nah.
classic, bro. So apparently,
That was funny. That was the funniest thing ever. He said it's a
apparently,
classic. I said what?
unfortunately, to break K-fob, I was told that what he meant that it was classic in terms of being a martial arts hand-to-hand fight. He didn't mean a classic battle. I don't know if there's any truth to that. I know the commentator was just capping, but
I mean, no, it sound believable, but he still lied either way. But that sound more believable though.
okay, all right, fair enough. Rang got the best fights. Ran versus the Train Guardian was cool to me. That was good. I think I should put the Lance one of the first times. Alpha Scan still not out. I checked this morning actually for that in Kubera. Even though Kubera, I think I record usually Wednesday or Thursdays. Manga Dex gets it about an hour or two before Kubari. I realized. I like reading it on Kubari just because the logo that I have for the Kubera thing is white and it looks good on the black background. Jefferson to Calvan was great, especially considering I just read that. I think this is a fight I look back on a little better just because I like Caliban now. But I think when I first read this fight didn't move me in almost any capacity.
Caliban.
Yeah.
You
How
didn't
you
like
doing?
Bam versus Raflejo, or however you pronounce his name,
Oh, that was when he. I'm a
Mister
B
Mister
rank.
B.
I'm a B
Yeah,
rank.
B rank.
Yeah.
Lord have mercy. Why did he lie to me, bro?
Yeah, he wasn't raw. He just over there talking out the crease of his ass, just making shit up. You hate to see it, but one that I like. Well, see, we can get into action sequences and more group battles if you want. I don't have to necessarily focus on 1v1s because I do like the crown game a lot, even as though it's super early. Just Anak,
Hmm.
Delore,
Hmm.
all of them and stuff. You can hear loud and clear. Okay, they can hear y'all. Remember, SAU said it's probably a classic. Remember when the octopus said it's somewhat different from. Yes, I remember. Real quick, talk about how disrespectful Ryan was when he's fighting a knack. Of course we can. He won that fight. He threw it. He threw it because he fell for her provocation or whatever. She did something and he got mad. I'm like, you already won. You didn't have to do this. you, you hate to see it though.
He couldn't let it slide. His
Yeah.
personality is really bad, which makes him
Hmm.
fun.
Hmm. Now, see this fight right here. You love versus everyone. This might be the best battle. versus
Viola versus
Sikaris
everyone.
versus
I might
versus
never forgive Sue for off-screening Rack versus Iniesta. Unnamed Hunt.
Yeah, that should have
Oh,
been
I was hyped.
that should have been shown. But you
I
see
was
that
hyped.
deception? Where's the release points in the arm? You see that shit? That's goat, man. That's greatness. That's iconic.
Hang up.
Yeah, and he actually did some. He actually did some level of damage to Indiana too. I just remembered that. He
Yeah, he
freed
did.
that up.
Well, they fought like when Aya was done, he's like, "Yo, you're like strong or whatever." I was like, "Bro, are you kidding me?" And it's doubly so like, "Are you kidding me?" Because like we don't forget that Rack was presented and presents himself as what, a combatant.
Hunter.
Exactly. Not I'm a cool bro dude, gives you these speeches. Like that's
Iniesta
all
pulled up
great.
and then Rack
Yablowski now.
punched this dude in the brain in
Hmm.
big form as well, and then he cut away and the fight was over.
I don't know. Any defenders for Ban versus White? Do people defend that shit? There's a couple people who are on my thing saying how much they like to fight and stuff like that, but
That's
Ban him
I
from the chat. Get him out of here.
that fight stinks.
the the only thing that I can say is only one person made a point that I'm like, I can see this. I can get why you see this. Why you say this. Everyone else was just being like, I like it because you're a hater. pretty much. Pretty much.
I like it because I like it.
What about
Nah.
what about
My favorite thing is always, you know what? Maybe you just need to put down the series. Like what? What you talking
Maybe you
about,
need
man?
to just lower your expectations and not have such lofty ideas of what Sue should do.
That is kind of true though. He would
You
get this.
haven't written a 400 chapter manhwa before. Where are your credentials at?
Hey man, I got published works though. Hold on, what about Aguero versus Hots, that little clash? They trade elbows
Okay.
and shit. You know what I'm saying? Hold on. That wasn't
But
clean?
they wait, he pulled out the pocket knife on his ass.
Yeah.
He thought he was Mihawk. It was crazy.
Yeah, and that Hot showed him that, hey, I've been trading, nigga. You trying to survive off that blood? This was a good exchange. I was like this little exchange. This was cool. Helljo fight, cool. I was gonna ask about anybody who thought about how do you think about like Rex showcase, I guess, against Helljo and whatnot.
We consider that a fight?
I guess it's a one-sided beatdown. You just,
Yeah.
but
Like
Beatdowns
that
are
that
fun.
fight, that I guess quote unquote fight to me is like when I'm watching Vegito versus Buhan. It was just
okay.
it's just a beatdown.
Haas versus Shalal. I actually do like that little clash. That was good.
Yeah,
Where have they
well,
see? I was hoping they would be back at some point by now. Even though we quote unquote, you know, Tower Godhead Canon gonna get this Princess War.
That's
Some
never
point.
happening.
Your
how
expectations
about
for the
Hulk?
Princess War. No, I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
how about Hulkin versus Bam? Anyone like that from the Dollar Show?
Eh.
It was fine. It
Serviceable.
was fine.
You know,
That was
Yeah.
more so about the test than the actual fight. I think, like, because they weren't really throwing hands between the two of them.
I feel it. Where's
How
Karaka?
about
There he is.
Did y'all like the one-on-ones we just got? Like, I don't know, like 40 chapters ago, I guess.
Somebody had asked me what my opinion was with the Yasaracha fight and Yama. It's not moving me. It's one of those things where like he kind of ruins it with one point. Like I really don't dislike like the choreography, what they were doing and stuff. It just I'm like you already planted a primordial fear inside of him. I'm like it's not.
yeah, it's kind of.
Well, you know what
about-
fight is GOAT? Yama versus Kel Hella.
I actually like that fight. It's very pretty. And he letting them arrows fly. Swords of Revealing Light was going crazy, bro.
Did you like my boy Submerged Fish fight with the was it Hasracha or whatever?
Nah. Put him in the acid black hole. That was the movie.
Yeah.
He's too good for a fight like
Crying.
that.
And Vacant Hell getting one shotted. Did you like that fight?
Yes. She stinks.
How about
She got hit with the Cassandra Soul Calibur spear and steel. Like what happened?
yeah? How about
Did Asuka
Yewa
a true fight?
versus
I don't know.
Angel? Yewa versus Angel is another nice one. I feel like
It's a good moment, I think. More so than I think. I think of it more so as a moment, I guess. Than I'm like, ooh, great fight. Does that make sense?
Yeah, see, I feel like Tower of God has a lot of those, to be
Yeah,
honest,
I
and a
like
lot of
I like
good
comparing those
clashes
to-
or
Yeah,
little
I like
moments.
comparing those
And
kinds of fights like Dragon Ball to like Dragon Ball moments. Because to me, like Yiwa versus Angel reminds me a lot of when Gohan goes Super Saiyan 2 versus Cell. It's not really a fight at that point after he goes Super Saiyan 2. It's just a good moment.
Yeah.
Same with Yiwa when she like flies and stuff.
I feel it.
Oh yeah, I'm not mad at that. Honorable mention Wagner versus Kasano.
That's
Lol.
That's not.
Pokemon.
Antimatter Shinsu
Lol.
moms. Now Elaine to me fight has the best choreography because I never seen him do that. The way Bam was like weaving through that shit.
Yeah, that was really clean.
When he was weaving, and then they had the fucking droplets of Shinsu in the air that he was looking at too. Boy.
And his like leg swings were nice. Did I read the recent chapter of Tower of God? 529 is the last thing that I read. We're still in the let me not say nothing, but yeah. Orekus is Pinky the Body, Karaka is peak comedy. Come on, bro. Why y'all do this to me? It's like hurt.
Using his pinky at 1% as well.
What is he supposed to do against that fucking freak? That monster. That demon.
You just weren't cut different. Karaka wasn't cut different.
He wasn't one of the chosen ones, bro.
Yeah, unfortunate.
He got one last chance in this arc to really show me something. But I might see. Look at Bam charging in, like it's clean, getting cut up. I was like this. I don't know. This fight's just visually appealing to me.
That's when everybody was on a level playing field.
Yeah,
it's different now.
Well, he's stronger than her, obviously, but still, it's not like.
See, but he was fighting on her field.
Yeah, and by her terms, and plus she had at least a good technique and skill to use against him with the teeth of the wolf not being strong enough to pierce Ranker's skin, and doesn't even stop. Even if you defeat her, she has to let the command do the command herself type.
Which is, you know what? Talking about this, like I said, always just makes me feel like I don't know why people thought we were so crazy for asking for the things we got for, because it's not like they're not in the story, and they came out of nowhere.
Yeah. Actually, if you're asking about recent Kubera, I read that too already, by the way. Just out of curiosity. But yeah, see the water droplets that you're talking about, Glam. It's clean.
Yep. That shit was goaded.
Yeah.
I think the only time that I would argue that
you see that Matrix he hit? Come on, stop playing with me, bro. Bring this back. You see, he hit the Matrix, hit the Neo.
The only time I'd say the choreography was as creative as that is Bam versus Data Jihad, but the action itself wasn't as crisp. It's just the moves that they were both using were so different and unique, and comboed well with their other abilities.
It's how I kind of describe the Caliban and White exchange. It's clean. Yeah. There's very pretty panels and cool attacks being used, but does it flow? You know what I'm saying? Like I could look at it. Even with the Bam and White fight, I could look at this panel. This is a good panel. This is a good exchange here, but you know how like Toriyama does his fights, it has a certain way your eyes just transition from, okay, this is obviously the initial point where he flared his ki and then took off and then punched Frieza and then Frieza like you could always tell what
Yep.
happened first. This is one of the fights where I think he was doing that on a really good level. It has the fight has good flow and you can tell the actions of sequences happening pretty clearly. Later on, I think he starts to not defend, depend on particle effects and overlays and flashy shit to make up for the fact he's not doing it. But it's not tricking me, is what I'm saying. I noticed.
Every fight now, I'd say, is a copy paste of Karaka versus Yuri. But the problem is that we've seen Karaka versus Yuri already, so it's not as cool anymore.
Yeah. But yeah, here's the little part with Hats. He uses his ignition weapon he didn't use, which ended up being Donghae. Damn, this moment's ruined.
That little confrontation was dope too, but
I
he just
know.
didn't do anything.
Cause you really like he's one of the ones you really root for because he trains. He's not a part of the RDA family. He's got the sword. You want him to be able to still use it at higher Shinshu density, and then it's just like, what did he do, bro?
Plus, when he said that the shit wasn't even ignited yet, you're like, hold on.
Yeah.
How raw is the sword?
Yeah. It is what it is, though. Whole Quinn amount of stamina white. Yes. I thought Campus Light was pretty well done. It's not done yet in terms of what's on thing though. But yeah, that was okay, I guess. I'm not. I don't know. I cared for different reasons other than how it actually plays out. That makes sense. Just remember that 106 is the last thing that's online right now. That's when he when Caliban's quote unquote out with the Shinsu thing. But that him combining the water vapor and electricity for the electrical storm was cool. I like that. I want more shit like that.
See, I agree with you. See, because I'm someone at this point, I don't know, like, I guess here's kind of my problem with fights, and I'll say this a personal problem rather than an author thing. I don't know how y'all feel about this type of stuff,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't care for, let's say, like, massive scaling of fights. I only need like that once or twice in a series, to be honest. Where it's just like, oh, look at this. It's so giant what's happening. Like, look at them. They destroying. Look how big this beam is. I don't really care about that when I'm watching a fight. I care about like what's the uniqueness and creativity plus the dialogue of what they're doing.
No, I agree with that. Like, like scale and stuff is important. Like, oh, like I do want to know if you're swapping hands on the sun, like you guys are strong enough to do that, right? Like, that's cool to know to have in the back of your mind just because it helps kind of contextualize things. But I'm like you, like I do not need to see someone get hit through 50 buildings to be like, this is a good fight. It could be very realistic, hand to hand, normal. To the point where like after a minute of fighting, both people are fucking tired. Because it's hard to fight at your maximum for a long time. People don't even get that. Even something as simple as them exerting themselves physically for like minutes at a time is very difficult. You ever watch a UFC fight? How long do they swing like that?
Yeah, I think the only series that makes characters fight for obscene lengths of time and they're always at their peak is honestly One Piece. Is the only one I can remember because for some reason stamina doesn't affect power output in that series unless your name is Law.
I guess, yeah, I feel that.
Yeah,
So,
I think for me, what I think the major problem is when you try to like do too much with like just the scale of how big the fight you want to be, it kind of takes away from the fight. Not that I don't want to see, like you said, now, like I don't want to see like how strong they actually are. But
but
if you're
that's not
doing
the
that
most
the
important
entire
thing.
fight,
Yeah.
yeah. But if you're doing that the entire fight, it's just taking away from the actual fight itself. Because it's just like because Tower of Gods is just like, bro, like so like I said, we sometimes we be watching it or reading it, and we just like what is actually happening sometimes? Like, what did they just do? Like,
Remember how we always say like, one of our major criticisms for Tokyo Ghoul is when they're fighting with their Kakugen or whatever the fuck is, it's hard to tell what's actually happening in the panel. Like I don't know who's doing what. I just know that someone's
yeah,
already.
I'm reading that again right now. His biggest problem, and I see a lot of mangakas kind of have this problem to me when they're drawing fights.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like they skip steps. Like the transition from one move to another doesn't 100% make sense, or you would actually want to see that.
Mm-hmm.
So it like makes sense, even if it's like a smaller little panel. Like if you do DBZ or a certain choreography, it's just like when he's about to throw a punch, right? You might see him do the cock back for the punch. You might see his left foot pivot in a small little panel, and then you see him throw the punch.
Mm-hmm.
Like But what they do is that the character will run at them and he'll throw a punch, but you didn't see any of the action that took place before that. Now you're just seeing the punch come out of his hand.
Yeah,
And if you don't have like the art to necessarily like effectively do that, it looks wonky.
I agree with that. I'm mad at that. But yeah, like in this fight, actually, I would argue he's still trying to do a little bit of choreography here. It's not bad. Actually, now I'm looking at it.
Yeah, yeah, it's been bad. Honestly,
I
I think it's been better at times.
I think this fight, the problem with me is not even how it plays out because it's cool. I actually really like the idea of Yasratra scaring him low key. You know that moment where it says that he screamed like he was trying to like expel all the fear, but it came all right
Yeah.
back. That moment is completely cheapened when I learned about the little primordial fear fang, blah blah blah, whatever. Did I go? I look like it's not real. It's fugazi. It wasn't organic. You didn't actually put the fear of the feline, if you speak, into him. You just did some bullshit when he was a kid when he was running away, but cheapens the moment of this fight. So I don't care about it. That's what happens. And
Well, I like he could have did that. I think it's just the way that he executed it
and
didn't
and then it's
help.
like his entire beatdown is completely like kind of like disqualified or just kind of just like meh, it didn't happen because they put a tooth in his chest and now he back to full HP, full MP. I'm like, all right, bro. But
You know how I think
it's a
that could
nice
have been
fight though.
more
It's a nice
effective.
fight though. It's really good looking.
You know how I think that could have been more effective personally. Is it from the moment that Yasaracha appeared on screen that that Yama was feeling off the entire time? Like if he would have like if that's like you would have wrote that like on the paper, just
Mhm.
like just like every time like he's like I don't know what it is, but every time like I look at Yasarachi, it's just weird. Something feel off.
Yeah, it should have
And
happened the
he
first time.
sort of kind of tried to do it, but you have to do it over the span of them
It should
each
have happened the
confrontation they
first
have.
time too. That's the
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
That's
That's the problem. He tried to shoehorn it in while they were fighting.
I'll
He's
give
like,
you a
why
good
he can't tell
example
you
of
multiple times?
remember the example I always use of Kaku when Zoro first meets him. And he's like, first, well,
Yeah,
obviously, he first makes a joke, "Are you Usopp?" And he's like, "Oh no, obviously square. No, the square the squares." He's like, "Oh, I'm a shipwright carpenter." And he's like, "No, you're not." Then later on, when you know he's part of CP9, you're like, that's what Zoro was hinting at. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? That's how you do shit like that. I think what a lot of authors have become scared to do. I don't know if it's because of the way media is consumed now and things like that. Is they don't want to put something in the story at a point in time that they absolutely refuse to explain for a specified amount of time.
It's the
So
mystery for mystery's sake shit.
there's that too.
But
But like I said, if I saw hands in Marine 4 turning black for whatever reason and I did not know why, but then when I get the explanation and I see it in the new role, I start to see it, I'm totally fine with that. It comes full circle. I
it
might be
also fixes a
frustrated in
lot
the
of
moment.
prequel issues.
Yeah, I might be frustrated in the moment, but when it's explained, I go, oh, so that's what I was seeing. You see what I'm saying?
Plus,
SIU,
you're gonna
in
get
my
the
opinion, he
explanation right
shoehorns a
afterwards.
lot of shit in there, like right in the last second. And because of the way stories are told today, I think a lot of people are okay with that. But we like the hints and the setup and the little sprinkle early.
Right.
We like that. I don't think a lot of
Because
people care
it
about
just
that.
makes more sense. Yeah,
Yeah.
it feels like you planned it out better. Like you said, you don't have to reveal it in that moment.
Mhm.
If you wait 20, 30 chapters and come back and explain it, honestly, in some ways, it makes you look better.
Yeah.
But you
You know
trying
what
to
it is
do it
for
in the
that?
moment sometimes, the way they try to do it, it don't work.
It's the
Mhm.
typical thing that we always bitch about. It's the not using the artistry to show and not tell when
Mhm.
they feel like they have to use words to do it. Because to be honest, if Oda had done that for the Marine, for example, in particular, nobody would have batted an eye. They'd be like, "What the fuck is this black shit?" And then that'd be it.
Yeah.
And then you get it. And if he had introduced it then, you would have gotten it right after when Rayleigh explains what it is to Luffy.
Exactly. It wasn't even that far away from the after, but I don't know. Well, after I guess after the flashback, but yeah, so but still. But I don't know. Maybe it's just one of those things where it's just a bygone of another era. You know, because I even saw Simi today complaining a little bit today about the My Hero thing. He's like, all this text, and I'm like, bro, I totally understand where he's coming from because it's weird to hear it from me because I like reading, but it's just like I do still think about the type of medium I'm experiencing at the time, right? So if I'm playing a video game, I kind of want my story and gameplay to align a certain way. If I'm reading a novel and you are this descriptive, not a problem. But in a
Give me
graphic
all the
novel
words.
where I'm looking at the pictures too, you should be telling me a story with the
Mhm.
visuals as much, if not less than the actual words. Because then what's the point of you drawing it? just write it out.
Yeah.
Then you see what I'm saying? Like I don't understand. Like that's why, despite people giving Fire Force all the shit it gives it, I'm like that nigga is a incredible visual storyteller, and I will never let y'all take it away from him. Whether you
Yep.
like Soul Eater or don't like Soul Eater, he can tell his story without having to actually type out everything, the wall of text, and I always respect Okubo for that. So,
We want pictures, not words. You know what it is.
what did you say?
We want pictures, not words.
This
Yes,
man is
exactly.
getting destroyed by the Matrix.
One of my favorite moments from Yama is when they found out Yasuo on the other side of the wall, and the Habo started getting hyped. That was raw, but then it's like, you know, it didn't pay off. It's because authors don't trust their readers to be smart. They're not wrong sometimes, but still, don't baby. I can understand that. Understand with a certain degree. Preach now. I've said that. I'll say it again. The Bleach True Zangetsu reveal. That was actually a good thing. Actually, one of the things that I did think Kubo set up really well was that like Quincy reveal and the Yuhabak thing. So another Togashi Stray, yeah, of course, every time.
He is a culprit.
He's a tell don't show ass nigga. So
Oda's getting there too, to be honest.
honestly, he's been there for a while. For being
Yeah.
real, it's been a while since he's been like that. Ever since you could tell how he started to change the way he structures his paneling a little bit
Yep.
and try to cram info in there. He's been doing it a lot. I'm not gonna act like he hasn't.
One thing I wish that a lot of authors would focus on in fights when they're specifically when they're technical is footwork of characters. Because that's a big component of fights.
Gosu is one of the only series I've seen them emphasize the placement and planting of feet for attacks.
Yep.
Off the top of my head.
It's mainly for things like stances. I think for a lot of cases, mainly stories about swordsmanship should include that. Because footwork is paramount. Because I think one of the best examples that you can look at for footwork, and especially in animation, is if anybody is a Star Wars fan, watch Ahsoka versus Darth Maul. That is a footwork extravaganza, boy. That shit is goated.
Shit, really good. Because that was motion capture too, wasn't it?
Yep.
Yeah.
They had Ray Park is in there for Maul as well,
Exactly.
so that's probably a little bit.
Yes. Because he was like a stunt art double person
Yeah,
beforehand,
he played
or martial
Maul
design.
in the prequels, and he played Snake Eyes for the G.I. Joe movies as well.
I'm not a G.I. Joe guy, so.
Well, yeah, that's why his fights were good. The acting, not so much, but.
But yeah, this fight honestly is a good visual spectacle though. The Yama and Yasracha one, I think it's meaningless. I think that's my problem, especially because now I know Yasracha is like probably like not trying to take Yama out. He's kind of protecting the Baylords in some shape or form. So it's hard for me to take that fight even as a fight because I'm like you're just kind of trying to get him to run back to his cage, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? So that's probably my problem with that fight. But if we don't have any other ones that are like your favorite or great ones that you could think of, even if it's from the first season, even if it's just like something like Ren or Yuri, actually Yuri, when Yuri messed up the purple Dementor and Pedro, that was good. The Shoryuken, that was clean.
One thing that always gets me about season 1 is when they're doing the crown game, and this Mancoon speed blitzes everybody, and then that just doesn't happen ever again. I was like, where did this? What happened to that? Where did that go? That's one thing that always gets me.
See, I kind of wish I had more moments like with team battles or stuff like that, like the Quattro Blitz versus Hats and what they were supposed to be doing, and how Hats was like, "Oh, I'm gonna hold them down, so y'all can attack," even though they didn't do it. But I wish there was more stuff like that going on.
Yeah, like the Arlene's hand fight when they're in there with what's the name, Hor Yang, Novik, and
Yeah.
When Bam is there too. Like that was a good team setting, even though it was more limited people, but still.
I like stuff like that. Like I'm trying to impede his movements with you, and it's like, oh, you're trying to set up this attack. I can only buy you like 2 minutes, like shit like that. That's always fun for me.
Okay.
Wish there's more of that going on, especially since there's so many people around all the time.
This is also a story that almost immediately puts emphasis on the idea of teamwork and position and doesn't even really kind of carry it out. Although there is a statement I remember saying that becomes more important the higher you go up the tower. So maybe it's because they were low enough.
I mean,
It didn't matter.
we'll have to see.
We'll
I don't
see.
know. I ain't seen it yet. But
Seems like
I mean, I guess technically we did see it with the the ending to the white fight. I guess.
Kun
Yeah.
decided he wanted to be inverse Todoroki. Todoroki better, not even close. I'm not a Todoroki fan. I like Agura more than it.
Comparing two piles of garbage. I mean, what?
Aguero, I don't know, man. Just bring back his methodical rawness. Like I want some of that, like
Let him
Kun
be
family
fucking conniving with it.
conniving, maniacal planning. But I
He's
guess because
cool.
Bam is good boy, he can't do that no more. So
He's Bam's mom now.
Mhm.
You just gotta accept it. There's no.
yeah,
His mom.
yeah. Stop being his mom. Oh God, it's just I don't know. They've removed a lot of the things about that character that I care about. Like the only thing that remains, I will say remains, is that he's not dumb. He's smart. But then again, like that's the thing. I didn't say he's smart. He's not dumb. like
I I honestly think Bam limits him because when Bam's there, like Kun at his best, he uses whatever he needs to. Like he'll kill people, like he'll do whatever he needs to win. With Bam there, he's pretty much not allowed to do a
and the
lot of what
story
he's good
frames it
at.
as a change for the better. So nothing we can do
This
about
is an
that.
outdated complaint too, but bring back my boy's briefcase, please.
Yeah,
Like
that's
fuck.
not coming back. To be fair, he helped White harvest the souls of every one of these battle pretty conniving. That is true. He has his moments. It's just like it almost like he remembers occasionally, like, oh, okay, yeah, he's supposed to be kind of like a part of the Kun family, a little conniving. Like, I still like what he did with the Windbird core and that Lope would be a branch leader. I thought that was still really good in terms of showcasing his intelligence, even though it was a joint feat with Shibisu. I think he found the location where LaFave was hiding or something, if I remember correctly. I could be wrong, but um, that dollar show stunt on Rachel Aguero, he's not there no more. He's gone. Like, where's
You
that
know,
nigga? Where's
you
him?
know what it is too. That they kind of lack the individuality that they used to have. Everybody in the group is tied in to Bam's wants and needs, and you could do that to an extent, but they should still keep the traces of their. See, I'm about to say their soul, like they lost their soul, but they need to keep their essence
Bam
of
absorbed his
themselves.
soul.
They don't feel like 100% themselves. It's like everything they do isn't tied into what Bam needs and what Bam wants. But it's just like these are people who are still supposed to have their own reasonings for climbing up the tower
Mhm.
that seems to have completely gotten lost because everything is
Shadow.
about what we need to do to help Bam. Like, and they're friends, so like I get it to an extent. You want to help your friend, but you shouldn't lose. Like, his goal was to become the Coon family leader, so like he don't even need to get stronger for the sake of Bam. He needs to get stronger for the sake of himself,
Yeah.
just so he can accomplish that goal.
Shout out Hatsu and his whole goal being trying to help Bam.
Nah, bro.
uh,
That's the new wave. Oh, bro, been at. Excuse me. My problem with Kun is that too much of his character is focused on Bam. Like, what the hell happened to him becoming the family head? There you go. To be fair, that's read that right. Yeah, harvest the souls. How many times we could have said I'll plan a thing and do conniving things, but it never goes that way. They leave the planning and higher thinking to my girl Hwaru Yun, who has to monitor these children. Facts. I do think Kun hold himself back, not Bam. The dude never learned to use spears properly because he's weird about his daddy. Bam is like 4 tiers above the rest of his group. Nah, Vince, you're right the first time. They lost their souls. That's my job better. Couldn't stay effing up. Where's my TOG Iceman? His friends don't want him. Don't have, wait. His friends don't want him off deal. It being the king. Wank. I feel that. You know what I'm gonna say? You know what? I think I have a good idea. Kind of a good comparison. I don't know if you, Glam. Do you like Harley Quinn? Just out of curiosity, before I go into this.
The Kaylee Coco show.
Just in general, the character.
Okay. In general, no.
Not really. Okay. I'm not particularly a Harley Quinn fan like that, but there's times where I can enjoy Harley. And I would argue Harley is, to me, always more interested when she's not dealing with the Joker. When she's divorced from him or not with him. And kind of away from Ivy too, because now you're trying to make Ivy like her other, like, everyone kind of like a two love interest, so to speak. Like there's Selena and Talia, like Ivy being like the backup one for.
I think for me with Harley, this is a tangent, but I think for me, I like her as the sidekick to Joker, but not necessarily like the love interest. Like it just like I'm okay with her being a
I feel
henchman,
that.
but I think she'd be best completely on her own. No Suicide Squad,
That's exactly
no
what I was gonna say,
Ivy.
basically.
Yeah,
I think Aguero's problem is because of his connection to Bam. He's never going to be able to really shine and showcase who he is. The same way that I think Harley, so to speak, is more dull under the Joker and a brighter diamond when she's doing whatever literal nonsense shenanigans she came up with on the spot. Like, I want a burrito, and she fucking hammers the door down and asks for a burrito. Like, that's the Harley that I want to see. So I think I think Kubera is held back. I think Aguero is held back by that. So that's all. When Kun was the leader of his gang when he was separated from Bam early season 2, it was so much more interesting. Yeah, I do think that a lot of times Bam being our point of view and perspective just dulls certain things because it's like.
I mean,
hold on. Because it's like before I forget.
there you go.
Because Bam is a good boy type character that the story always tries to keep kind of pure, even when he's doing something that's not necessarily like that. Like him killing off like some of those random beastkin and things of that nature, and his like jovial, darker moments and stuff. We almost pretend it don't happen. Like to me, Bam isn't as good of a person as the story tries to present him as. And I think when you do that with current characters, you don't allow their actions to actually, have agency and sway and be seen as, morally corrupt or a little ethically gray. You hurt the story, and that's the problem with Bam. Nothing he does is wrong. It's always right. It's okay. Oh, I did this thing, my master. Don't worry, Bam. I'll hug you up. And like, no one ever holds him accountable for anything. So, anyways, that's kind of how I feel.
I mean, in this case for Bam, I actually disagree with the notion that, at least in the beginning of season 2, that he held Kun back. Because Kun, when he met back up with Bam, he still had a lot of great moments, especially in Dollar Show.
Okay, yeah.
Name Hunt was another one where he shone a lot. I'd say where he started going downhill, I'd honestly say was around Floor of Death, to be honest. And I don't necessarily think that was a Bam issue. I think that was more so Sue's general writing issue. Now that was because it was becoming more Bam centric, but I don't think it was because of proximity to Bam in terms of character. I think it was just general writing.
Okay. No, I hear that. That makes sense to me. Did anyone care about Cha versus Kendrick? Was that good to anyone?
Cha, hilarious.
No, we're not fucking
Who's
with that.
Kendrick again?
Kendrick Dial was the guy in the chair from Yes Ratchet's group.
He said, "Who's Kendrick?" I'm crying.
So the story
No,
right
that's
now
just dumb.
never punishes Bam for anything he does. The crazy thing is that little extra tidbit about him never kind of being punished is something that I always knew, but I really, really thought about when I was explaining how much I don't like Rex from Xenoblade. Because Bam may not get punished, but Rex is literally rewarded for doing the wrong thing, which might be more egregious depending on your point of view. like, like, Naya, don't take a fucking last second heave shot with 6 seconds on the clock left from half. Oh, when it, like he gets rescued. The dumbest thing and gets rewarded for it. Never learns the lesson. So, yeah, I wanted to go to the White and Caliban part. Here we go. I think it's over here. No, maybe no. Too no, it's too early. I think it's before. It's before the second part of the wall. Yeah, it's around here probably. There we go. Let me see what the chat's saying. Yes, SIU will never do this, but imagine if Quinn has to separate from Bam because he's too weak and have him go on his own soul searching mini arc to truly explore who he is and when he's independent of Bam. That would be a good idea, but again, it's not happening. Do you think SIU has it in him to turn Bam into a sort of villainous character at any point in the story? I don't think he does.
Absolutely not.
I don't think he does. And I think his unwillingness, it's not even his unwillingness to turn him into like a villain character, but at least to truly have people see him as something truly bad. Not just because Jihad told them some prophecy or whatever. Like, Bam being here is not a good thing. And to some degree, you can say that because, like, the people who are. But see, it's like you saying, hey, go capture this criminal. Like, I guess, whatever. I'm going to do my job because I'm part of the army, but I have no actual feelings toward this person. I'm just doing what I'm doing. So, usually when the Jihad Empire is after Bam and company, they don't have any, like, I have to take out this irregular because he could be like that's not really what's happening. Only really Caliban because Caliban uses an irregular, but still. Anyways, um, Bam Deadass was only with Endorsi. Oh shit. What's okay with it? It's good as long as he continue to follow Rachel. Enough said. Exactly. That's a moment two people don't bring up enough. Where like she's like, yo, my name, help me. He's like, listen, yeah, me. And I was like, wow, bro, help her. I don't want him to turn Bam into an Aaron type character. I won't be able to stand the Jaegerist and TOG. We don't need that. 100% we don't need that. But yeah. So White kind of shows out here a little bit this fight with Caliban, but again, I still stand what I said earlier. See this panel here, this explosion, really cool explosion, really cool looking panels and stuff. But it's just no flow to the battle too. And I argue with a lot of White's sword strikes to make it seem like they're coming out of nowhere. He lets them come from the randomness of angles. He just kind of destroys them in there. I don't know if anyone else got that impression.
No, I felt that.
Okay. Because all this considered, I did enjoy this little exchange with Caliban and White, but again, it's not moving me like that. Because White was cutting through the essence of bravery energy and things like too. But yeah, it is what it is. But now yeah, his stamina, his mana, his MP. But okay, all right. Now I want to get negative. What fights stink?
Huh. Don't get
Bam
me
what
versus
are the, what are the fights that stink?
don't get me started on the one we all think sucks.
You can start. We can start there, because that is the one that I chose for my video. So you can start there.
That's
Because
all
I
I gotta
actually
say.
want to. Because I actually didn't. I wasn't harsh. I wasn't as harsh on that fight as I could have been. I actually held back
I
immensely. Go ahead.
No, I actually hated it. Not I even the main reason I really hate it is not even because of the fight stinks. Don't get me wrong.
Mhm.
It's just I don't like how much like how they use the whole aircraft and prince thing. To me, it's supposed to be like the battle. It's like it's centered around Rachel versus Wagner, right?
Mhm.
I don't like how they use that like some random shit like use that to set up Bam versus White because White wasn't even important in that Arcrafter shit, man. He shows up like what for one panel says he killed the prince and he goes off screen. Like, it's not that important. I really didn't like how they made that in such a big thing. Like, White wasn't even that important in the killing of Arcrafter and shit, man. Like, that shit annoyed me.
I don't. I think I agree with you. Like, I mean, we talked about it. We're like, we're not. Y'all not friends. Like, what is this? Like, we weren't moved by that. Like that much. I 100% I could agree with that. I think the only thing is I'm okay with White doing whatever he can to get Bam to fight. Whatever he
Okay,
has to
yeah,
use, that's the part of it
that
that I'm okay with. It's just the way Bam like took it and how they framed it. I'm like, this is not. You didn't set this up well enough to make Bam. And listen, Miles pointed out something really important. I think it was Miles. I'm sorry if it's someone else though. I think Miles said this. He's like, it's not like Bam like had quote unquote beaten White and said I did it, I avenged them or anything of the sort like that. Like he was not thinking about. He does not care about them niggas, bro. Like that's
and
not
that's
moving me.
like and this is like a small thing, but this is another like reason I really don't like Bam's annoying is because see he wants to put every storyline. He wants to shoehorn Bam into every single storyline like he needs to be in
Batman with
there.
DC. Yeah, keep going.
Like he doesn't. Bam could be a sideline for this storyline. Like as you said, White doing that is whatever, right? White doing whatever, but Bam doesn't need to like. He doesn't need to become a main person for the Arcrafter Prince thing. Like he doesn't care for them. He could
Mm-hmm.
just be a sideline. Like I don't know, man. There's also way better ways to set up the fight. Like as like you said in your video, why are they doing it in the middle of a fucking war, man? This shit's so stinky. But yeah.
Mm-hmm. No, I feel it. Hold on. Bam versus White, Bam versus Hokin, Bam versus Rankers, Bam versus Dog Commander One, Bam versus Levi, Bam versus Charlie. All these. Yo, you went in. went in.
You went
Bam.
crazy. You went crazy.
Oh, how about Bam and Bam and Crocker versus Yam? I don't think I really did not like that fight at all.
Wake him up. That's a side
Yeah,
mission, bro. Just wake up Yamo. Now,
wake up,
F and
Yam.
Dorsey, the name hunt, she's the most selfish character in the whole series. No wonder people defend her so much. I'm not actually defending her. It's just Bam was really like very dismissive. I actually like. I'm okay with. I don't. I'm rather than Dorsey fan. I actually feel you on that. I'm not mad at that. You saying that? It was just. It was just like
See
Bam. But the
my
point is that.
problem with that.
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. Video quick.
No, go ahead.
Oh no, I'm just saying my problem on that though is that kind of like it's the same reason like people defend Rachel. I'm just like, bro, honestly, and Dorsey just doing what everybody else is doing in the tower. It's just all of a sudden they all have lost that individualness. Because so that's what more people in Tower of God should be like. They should be doing more selfish things for their selfish reason.
Mm-hmm.
Like and like you said earlier, like they always be trying to paint um Bam in a super positive light, but Bam was damn near letting Dorsey out to dry to lose her name and shit like that. He was
Mhm.
perfectly okay with doing that just so he could find out more stuff about Rachel.
It's to
Like
the point they
honestly, that's
framed that
objectively
Aguero,
terrible.
the Shibisu, like using the Juvio Grace thing. It's like, you don't know how it hurts Bam to have to adopt that name. I'm like, oh my god, give it a rest. Jesus Christ, suck that up, bro.
Bam being selfish is okay. Anybody else is it's bad.
Yeah, like they painted it bad for, and the only people who call Bam out for his problem are the Red Witches. That's it. They the
Mhm.
only people that say he's being bad. Everybody else just coddles him.
Mhm. The wife let her
But
go
anyway,
get off. I
back to you.
feel
Whatever
you.
y'all talking about, Richard.
Not a hypocrite, my girl.
I'd actually say I have more problems with fights that didn't happen that were sort of set up than fights that were just bad.
Hold on, hold on.
Oh no.
Let's
Honestly,
finish
I would argue.
the white and Bam thing first, though, before you move on.
Oh, go ahead. Finish that.
I don't hold on. I'm just reading the chat real quick. I didn't like Hassong versus Haracha. The fact that she could have been executed for losing her name. Dorsey, what she's about huge for. Anak herself, so Dorsey did it her own ego, not her. That was me. There was no after that. Okay, it was you, Miles. All right, man. So she was being egoist. Yeah, I mean, I don't care about the Dorsey thing that deeply. I'm not gonna lie to you. But like the reason that I actually chose this fight is legitimately when I don't know what you guys your personal like you know barometer is for a good fight. I can't pick anyone else. For me, it's gonna depend on the medium, but still, right? Sometimes a fight's execution and choreography could be absolutely kind of mid, but I still understand the stakes and tension and consequences behind if the character loses or whatever. That still makes me extremely emotionally invested. Think the problem with this fight is I think it checks half of one box of all the things that I need for a fight to be interesting, entertaining. Because you can actually have a poorly choreographed fight or a fight I didn't think is that crazy. Case in point, I think Enaru versus Luffy is a very meh fight from a standpoint of what's actually happening in terms of them dodging and punching and the techniques using. I think it's very meh. I just think it's very symbolic of Calgary, blah blah yada. I'm not gonna go into all that right now. But I'm on P stream. But you get what I'm saying? Like that's why it mattered to me. And it was the ending with move was symbolic, ringing him with the bell. I think this fight has the weirdest timing I have ever seen for something like this. Like I'm in a good place with Tower God right now. And when I think of this arc, I'm actually like, hey, since the defense and second wall, you know what? It's not even that bad from start to finish. But then I think about this moment, I'm like, why is this here? It's just the weirdest blemish on this part of the story. Like, this is the weirdest timing. Choreography wasn't moving me. I think it was okay when Bam was first fighting against White a little bit, like hereish. It was fine, serviceable. So I'm not entertained visually. What are the stakes? Let's be real, okay? Bam was never losing. So was there any tension? No, because Bam was always stronger than this nigga, right? What was the reasoning for this fight? What was the big picture takeaway? I guess we're powering up the main trio, I suppose. I don't know why or why it happened to happen this way. That's why we're doing it. Were there any consequences for any actions that Bam took? Nope. Arya died and he brought that bitch back immediately. What the fuck am I supposed to enjoy here? There was no character growth for Bam. A dark twist, a dark change. Bitch, where?
He's
Niggas,
angry
niggas
at
were making
White.
jokes that his shih tzu turned darker. You didn't get it, bro. They're making fun of the fucking shit. No one was taking that seriously. No character change. Nothing. They're both the same person. Bam has moved on to the next mission. He's not even tired. He's in the suspendium.
And he didn't reflect on it at
He didn't
all.
even
One
say,
thing
"I
that
did it for you guys, my friends, Prince
yeah,
and
see,
Art."
that's
None
that's
of
always
that.
a problem I've had with a lot of things in the and like I said, this is something he used to do somewhat. Like when he fought Data Jihad, one reason that kind of works is while he's fighting him, he's reflecting. He does some semi-reflection while he's fighting White, but it's not for the reasons that it should be.
Mhm.
He gets that small little flashback with the phone call where it's just like, oh yeah, Prince Arcrector is still alive, and that was it. Like they
That's
not, and he's like, oh, it's
uh,
my fault.
Keaton brought up a good point, but the ending was so bad as well. Like Bam dominates him for the whole fight, yet we're supposed to believe that he needs Kun and Mac to beat him. Like that makes no sense. Like
Yeah. I have a problem I have with the fight at any point. It's a dark change. Yeah, that's just not good, man. Bam also Bam at 30. He a grown ass man. Fair enough. Worst part is the lack of anything bad happening for Bam while fighting White. Because I did say this in the video. I don't know if you guys agree with this, right? let's just say this happened the exact same way it happened, right? And let's say later down the line at some moment, right? The reason why Hajin Sung passes away or gets teleported or strapped in a suspended, whatever could happen to him, happens because he took the time to have this fight and didn't focus on the mission, even though he won. That would be a consequence for him not focusing on the mission and stopping for having a personal squabble. I would have taken that in stride. I may have not loved it. I'm like, okay, at least there's that. I don't have that. My point is. So when I really think about it, I'm like, this is actually the worst fight that's ever happened. There's no reason for it. There's no good reason for it. There's no consequences. I wasn't even entertained. I honestly remember my channel struggling a lot during this fight because we had nothing to talk about because they've just been doing this for like 8 weeks and it's not interesting. You know that guy, that African dude that holds his hands out when people do a bunch of stupid things
Yeah,
complicatedly, he does
yeah,
it very simple. That's what Bam was
yeah,
doing in the air, bro. He has his hands out like this. And Shinshu was
yep.
flying at White, and White's just wiggling, jiggling, trying to not die. It's just
My thing is too is if you want to quote unquote portray a dark change and you're not gonna do it with the artistry, then you should do it with dialogue. And he didn't do that either. If you want me to believe that instead of me having to hear theories from readers in comment sections and people trying to put together the
rationalize.
pieces, rationalize why it changed, that's how you could have just put on the paper, Bam talking and saying things,
Yep.
whether it be out loud to White himself or like, what if Bam was running around calling White a bastard and this, that, and the other stuff that he normally never does?
Mm-hmm.
Well, then I can at least be like, it probably still would move me, but at least I'd be like, okay, well, there's something on the paper where Bam is talking a lot in this fight. He's cussing, he's very angry, like, he's just yelling. He's like, no, you have to die. He gotta die. Like, he didn't even do that. Like, even with when he changed to Vincent. Not really.
Yeah, he was like, and SCU has a lot of these very jarring moments, and it's like I read the story. You didn't like I know what's like, I know what's going on. Bam is living and breathing. Wait, is living and breathing cinnamon bun. What dark change is gonna happen? And the funniest part about the little black Shinsu thing too is we already know his Shinsu is black against Dada Jihad. We already seen it. That's not the first time we've seen the black Shinsu. But
Right. Or he could have had a change where he even talked to Machine all crazy. He didn't do that either.
yeah, there was. That's the thing. The dark chains, because they try to frame it as the real loss here is if Bam becomes a worse or more morally corrupt person, and that didn't happen. I don't think any of us believed it would happen. Some people were like, "What if Bam is like more ruthless?" And I'm like, "Bro,
I mean,
He's already ruthless,
you could
man.
already argue to me to be
he
honest.
but that what you about to say, I think, is more framed from a leadership position where he has to own the actions he's taken, not that you're a bad person because now these people are dying in this war. You want to go save Hajin Sung, this is the aftermath. You have to accept that. That's more so what they're telling him, not like, you know what I'm saying. But go, sorry, let me
No, you're
cut you
gonna
off.
get the closest thing that Bam got to that quote unquote dark change is when we were in the cage and he saw Ding Ding die or whatever, and he was just like, "Do I even care? Like, or do I care that this guy died?" Like, that's the closest he been to a dark change. He was like, it was like the first person for almost the entire series where he's like, "I'm not sure if I care if this person is gone or not."
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
there's like none of that happening. Like, it should have been some moment to represent like, oh, he stopped caring about these things or these people, or he's talking to people crazy, even his own friends.
The
Like,
darkness is taking over. Sorry.
yeah, there's none of that because, like I said, at least that's evidence on the paper.
Yeah.
There's no evidence on the paper, like you said. They do that. They look at Vicente and they be like, "Oh, is he still white in there?" Then they move on, and then Machine give them a new mission, and they go
Yeah.
do that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Uh,
Yeah, go ahead.
no, I was gonna say another thing is because I think it was kind of almost implied that they like Kun and them held back the the information about Archiraptor and White, and he doesn't even confront them on that. Like, there's no like tension there. There's
Mm.
like there's no dark change like between their friendship or anything. There's nothing there. Like, he just beats White randomly and he goes on his day. There's nothing.
Mhm. Yeah, I don't know, man.
There's
It,
nothing there.
I do think like this is one of those weird things where this is where real life kind of comes into contact with storytelling. But I do think with certain characters that you set up a certain way, you kind of have an obligation to send them off in a respectable manner. I do think you can subvert that, and it works sometimes. I tend to use Anise Monogatari final confrontation with Koyomi and Kaiki a lot as one of my moments where I like that it didn't end up becoming what it was. But I see the thing about it is I hate people who subvert just to do it. Have a reason, but don't just do it to do it. So I do think you can do that. But honestly, I just think that the white fans got done dirty. Just like this is not how you expected somebody who did one of the most devious things in the tower to go out. You just didn't see it coming like this. I don't think you
That's the
have
run in
to
the story.
always send them off into the grand faction. And for what we know, maybe White comes back later on, takes over the body again, or he helps Vincent inside, whatever the case is. But that's not moving me personally. I don't
Nah,
give a fuck.
my thing is why it was too important not to give out a grand ending if he was gonna die. I
And
mean,
he's
he
the only
didn't.
second generation Slayer we have, right?
See, but even more than
Other
that,
than
like,
Yama.
or even regardless of position,
No,
he's like
Yama's
the
third
first,
generation.
he's
Oh,
like
okay.
the first real giant antagonist that
Right.
Bam has had the entire series.
Mm.
Like, as far as just like recurring, like Jaha obviously is the ultimate plan, but why was the very first person who popped up on page where we just like, oh, this guy might actually be a problem?
He'd been the best villain in the story up until that point too.
Yeah, because like
it wasn't
we
even
felt like
close.
that when Karaka first appeared on page, but even then we didn't feel Karaka necessarily towards for Yuri because they set it up like that. They were like, oh, he's gonna be Yuri's biggest problem.
Mm-hmm.
White was Bam's biggest problem, always had been. And even though they sidelined him, he still, he was still a problem. He gained all that power, got all beautiful, all sorts of stuff. Like, nah. So like, yeah, if he was gonna go, and for me personally, what I thought I was gonna see was some instance of like Bam winning the fight, but White quote unquote winning the war. Like
Because he
White's
corrupts
like,
it.
like White's like, you beat me, but I see you in hell, nigga. Like,
Mm-hmm.
enjoy the bottom, because like
Mm-hmm.
I messed you up. I killed your friends, and there's nothing you
Mm-hmm.
could do about it. That didn't happen either. So
Fight shouldn't have just not happened.
Is that true? I might be off on that. I'm gonna check.
I'm
Actually.
fairly certain Yama is second because he was a Slayer before White was.
Was he? You know what? That would
was
make
he?
sense. No,
Yama's the
no,
he's the seventh.
I can't say this on this stream, but no, something you said that made it obvious. No, you're right. You're right. He
Yeah.
probably is. Yeah, yeah. That's on me. Then my bad.
Oh,
For some reason,
interesting.
no. You know what? I remember. I remember the mistake I'm making. I'm mistaking Cal Helm's statement. Okay, I remember because he said your power is on par with those of the
Equivalent.
first generation. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm mistaking that. Okay, I didn't remember that correctly. That's my fault. But yeah.
Nah, but anyway, okay. So I was trying to move past this fight. So what I think is the worst fight in the series, even though that is the worst fight in the series, but
Mhm.
if I had to put a second place, I think it's uh Varagov versus Bam. Awful.
Anything to
The
do with Baragov is bad.
the rematch,
Yeah,
like on season 3 when season 3 starts.
yeah.
Yeah.
Man, I told y'all that nigga was getting packed. Y'all didn't
No,
believe
no,
me.
no. We knew you were right. By that time, I definitely knew. But I'm
Mhm.
just saying that like, and the reason it's bad is kind of for similar reason that White versus Bam is bad. It's like the stakes you kind of put into Varagov as a character, and you made him seem like he was gonna be like mega important and hot shit. And that's
Mhm.
one reason why I didn't want the progression to be so quick the way it was. And everybody's like, we're 500 chapters in. You should be fighting rankers. But my
Mhm.
thing is that I don't know what chapter length has to do with the setup of your story. I've never understood that. But that's something that readers are just like, oh, you already got a certain length of time in here, so we should just be doing shit already without regards to context of what's going on in the story. But anyway, yeah, Varagov was one of those characters that made it seem like he was always gonna be a rival for Bam, and
Mhm.
then that nigga just did not matter.
I don't.
Like, what's the point of me telling? What's the point of you telling us that like he's a top cage fighter and he's a mad dog and he got potential to be? Because to me, he could have just been one of those characters that at least could have been a really good setup to get to the cage.
Mhm.
Like, if you can't even deal with Varagov or you struggle with Varagov, how you gonna deal with more upper tier people in the cage? That was not the case. Stunk. Honestly, he should have just died. There's no point of him being around.
I mean, at that point, you should honestly just let Endorsey beat his ass and fucking.
Or yeah, or something.
That's what I was gonna say because like when she dropped him from how high she dropped him, it was more to make it look like, wait a minute, this guy's fighting a jihad princess still OD. He's the strongest E rank. Yada yada yada. Nah, bro, none of that matters. It doesn't
Honestly, would have
matter.
liked to have just seen the two of them fight. I feel like we got hoed out of that.
Mm-hmm.
With all the
Yeah,
hype of the top 5 regulars, like we did not get to see Endorsey or Baraga do really anything in that arc.
we haven't got to see a lot of people do anything. We haven't seen Anak have a real fight outside of Ran.
That's why I'm saying I think the majority of what's bad about it is not even the fights that are bad; it's the fights that don't happen that should.
Yeah,
And I hear what you're saying with that. That makes sense.
When's the last time Rack had a fight?
Lol.
he doesn't. He kind of beat up a Korean Riddler.
Hold on. He threw that speed.
Is
Threw the
getting
spirit
off
white.
screened by Iniesta count?
Through the spirit white. Shout out to my guy Rack. Even though I had
Does fighting
even though the game
magician
the
hair
game with
guy
Sebastian the Crab automatically
Yeah.
automatically locked on for him, but yeah.
Does fighting Twink Riddler count?
With Rock Throw and Stone Edge, I guess.
Yeah.
Baccarat food. Now the Baccarat thing is well taken because it's one of those things where I wonder, is it because he retconned the whole story of Amor and Yama that as a result the Mad Dogs became less important because the story is completely different? You know what I'm saying?
That other Mad Dog and Dollar Show had more fights than Baragov.
See, this is why I say the
But
blog post completely changed your perception of the entire series.
yeah.
Like people who just read this series without that level of time of investment as far as talking about those type of things, they're never gonna care about that type of stuff. They go, "Oh, what are y'all talking about? I thought everything that happened was just fine." I still think that's silly, but they do have a point with some things because if you never knew any of those things existed about the retcons, the constant retcon, well, of course you wouldn't care. Like
Yeah.
you didn't think Varagolf was gonna matter that much. You just saw him as some dude who had a semi cool design, and
You
he
set
was
him
just a
up,
problem.
because remember when they're E ranks, he's one of the strongest, blah blah, Mad Dogs, Immort, Yama, Cage, this and that and the other. And then the Endorsey thing happens. One of the main reasons, even by that point, I was starting to understand, like to some degree, like how we're going to be writing Bam, especially post Jihad. But I'm like, I've already seen him body one of y'all. And he just went and trained for 2 years. You're not beating him. Move from my sight. You're wasting my time. That's how I took it. I knew he wasn't going to be able to do nothing to him. But
y'all remember Chang?
yeah, he's
one
dead.
of the top five.
He's fucking. Didn't he fucking die? Didn't he get sniped by in the cage arc? He's dead with Paul Venti. I swear he died.
One of the worst.
Didn't Quattro
That
Blitz?
motherfucker did nothing.
Was it Quattro Blitz with him? And he like got sniped.
Yeah.
I'm gonna find it. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's one of the worst deaths because
he got so much hype and did nothing the whole series.
People were saying he's the third Mad Dog. I remember. Hold on. They hold him.
Nah, it was such a bad death because you said it because you want to show rankers are actually better. Like you got to take rankers seriously. And now the next Yorks is pretty much showing rankers not shit. Just killed them off for no
this is the
reason.
guy that I saw in the cage. I don't know.
Bring them back. Hashtag shut up and coon.
It was right here, yeah. I shall give him freedom. Boom. Enjoy our Chang.
Yeah, when
he's
he got
gone.
killed by the Starbucks trio.
Yeah.
I forgot.
Oh, and he got killed by Venti Talent Grande. He never liked that nigga. He never liked him. That's just disrespectful. That's just tragic. Do any of y'all dislike Yama and Vanikel versus Kel Helm? I know Kel Helm is a clown, but I thought the fight was at least kind of clean to look at.
I mean,
it's not moving. It's not moving. He's unmoved. It's okay. He's unmoved. He's unmoved. Shoot. Rocket's a comedian now that Bozo needs to go home. Kel Helm was basically SIU in his blogs. Oh, low key. Forgot the rematch. The curious case of Cal Helm. Hey, he knows the title of the video. So I like to see. Do you all like Bam versus Bull CRL did? It was a better fight for me. I think it's better. Elliot kind of got packed though. I don't know. So it's okay.
Elliot.
Let me see. So much hype did nothing. I feel like a lot of characters can relate to this. The Cage arc is a travesty. Yeah, Cage arc is not hitting. But
Shadow
I
Days.
think Glam, what you're saying is well taken. A lot of the fights that probably were set up that we thought we were gonna get that doesn't really happen. Those are a bit of a disappointment. But
Rack versus Zenyatta is probably top one in that group.
that
To be
fight
honest.
did deserve to get played out. There was no reason for that. Honestly, I couldn't think of any reason for that. Do you sometimes think he didn't want to showcase the powers of higher rankers too early, which is why he did most of some of the nonsense he did? But then now he's just like, whatever, I'll do whatever I
I don't
want.
know what the fuck he was doing, bro.
I don't think I like. Listen, there's a lot of series that I read where the power scaling isn't perfect. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But this is one of the few series where I'm like, it's so wonky. I don't know. I can't do anything until the fight's over, and I can just try to analyze what happened in retrospect. That's the best I can do. Like, okay, maybe he won because he like.
Yeah.
That's all I got. That's all I
I'm
got at
just
this
trying to
point.
rationalize it.
I can't do it before the fights anymore, especially since I think SIU was trying to somewhat. Maybe he never established this, and maybe this was just us as a community assuming that power was the most important thing when it came to ranking. But I'm starting to believe influence and recognition matter far more than power do, or at least have a bit of a extra like leeway or more weight there. Because I think of Evan. I do not for a fact think Evan is stronger than a lot of the combatants that we're seeing on this floor. But Evan is a really good silver dwarf and well known, right? So he's up there. Cause I don't think he's stronger than Yuri. Yuri's a princess, wielder of the 13 month, and all those things, and she's still not. She's still only like top 500. And Evankel dropped from 60 to I think outside the 300 solely from losing her floor ruler position. And
It
so a
may
lot
also have to do with the specific floor that Ivanka was ruling as well, because the
could be
testing floor is super
yeah,
important.
that's pretty important. You're right, because that's where the regulars become regulars. So you're right. I didn't think about that actually. Good point. But I think I don't know. I do think also the introduction of a blue holes or him trying to find another tier of strength he can draw from. So perhaps he's just trying to restructure the power system in this, but I think it's super wonky. I never know who could do what. Like to the point where I'm surprised when certain things happen. I was surprised Chian Hiha's demon fan was gonna kill Han Sung Yu in the last station. But then against a local be a family head candidate, he's actually completely not outclassed. But Haracha give you a little bit of trouble. I don't even know how to scale that nigga. So it's weird. It's weird.
At this point, the ranks should just be power consistent, because then if the influence is like 60-40, then that's like there's no way to really tell who should be placed where at that point,
I feel that.
unless you're in the top 20.
Mm-hmm. Where's my Dolan slander video? I'm still holding on to me. I do gotta make that. I've been focused on some other stuff and editing, but you're on right. On Goggle, I think the one important enough to deserve a video. I think she might get one, but it might be quick. Might be 3 minutes of bash of slander. You know what's bad, power scaling, because we're on the 52nd floor, and to include tension, you need a family head. Oof. Oof. Does anyone remember what happened to the guy who absorbed Handyman? It seemed he got hyped for nothing. Wait, the guy who absorbed Handyman? What do you thought? Who's that? Am I
Who the fuck is
am I a
Handyman?
fool? Oh wait, you talking about the guy with the dark skin with the curse, what Arya and those guys are a part of? I think you're talking about him. I don't. I think he getting packed by the Highbrinder or something like that. Maybe I don't know. Doan, I think he misspelled moron, Chief. Well, I can feel that. I'll argue that the only reason Yuri is so low because she doesn't have as much influence. Exactly. Maybe my understanding is Yuri sometimes doesn't listen, so maybe that's keeping her as low as it is. But I really don't think power is the most important thing anymore. I really don't. I could be wrong though. I think it should be. I think influence and recognition should matter. But if what if I'm weak? I cannot fight, but I'm good scientist. Do I get to be
Power
top
should
100?
make up like
Yeah.
70% of your ranking.
Like if Vince is like, yo, he created this one machine that everyone in the tower uses, but he don't fight. Is he top 100? Like, how does that work? I guess so.
Nah.
I don't know, man. I don't know, bro. The best fight will be Tura versus Yasracha. Now, you see, you're thinking. He's thinking ahead. He's thinking a frame ahead. But I think that's all we got for good and bad fights. You can move on to good and bad moments. Well, I said I could say that for another stream actually. Oh, I'm dropping frames like a bitch. What the fuck? Sorry about that. I did not know I was dropping frames like that. I did not. Jesus Christ. We back? We good? I think we're good. But yeah, we talked about all the fights that I think kind of matter. I'm trying to think of any little quick skirmishes or scuffles that were cool. Like, you guys know at this point because of the video I made, I think the Bam versus Red clash is horrible in hindsight.
That shit sucked.
I think the Rand versus the tower, the little guardian thing, when they're trying to get to the train, I think that was
good.
cool.
That was good.
Yeah, with
Daniel. And Rand was
Yeah.
around. Rand was around. That was good.
Man, he legitimately my favorite character. Not only for his personality, because I just think he's funny as shit. Kind of like how you think Mio Love's funny as shit, but I think Rand's just funny because he just like, oh, why y'all keep talking? But like, I think like we say this all the time. Rand showcasing compared to everybody else's in his peer class don't make no sense. Like
he's the most versatile, well trained regular that we've seen, in my opinion. I can't
just
count Bam,
everything he does,
yeah.
just everything he does with him make like even in his fight versus Inueta, his callbacks to shit that Machini told him. Like, it's not that hard to do this shit on the paper. This is what I be talking about. Like, that's legit a perfect way how you do that. We've never seen him and Machini have this conversation or anything like that. So what did he do? He called back to it. He was like, "Oh, you remember that time when Machini told you that if you fighting somebody from the Ari family, there's only two ways: tank the hit, or what was the other way? I forgot, but you know, you get it.
Yeah.
Fucking,
she's like,
or hit him with a stronger attack.
Don't really try to dodge it. To brace yourself, take the hit, and hit him with something stronger. And I said, damn.
Like that shit was raw. Why can't we do that with the other niggas, man? And why can't they have some different showcasing uniqueness? Like and like Rand, even though he learned all his for most of his techniques from Machini, they're all Machini style moves. But
yeah,
at least there's versatile creativity to it. The man got he uses items, he uses Shinsu skills, he uses hand-to-hand combat. I'm like, bro, this is what I be asking. I'm not asking anything from this series that hasn't already been done, that hasn't already been showcased in one way or another. It's just that it's just so jarring and shocking to me the levels of which other characters are not allowed for this to happen. Maybe I don't know. Is it just too time consuming? I don't
An
get it.
example of a character who should be like that is Endorsi, for like with the amount of aptitude that she's shown in basically every facet of combat. She just like she was out here doing just regular Shinsu blasts, and then didn't do anything else when she was like, what was it, season 1? She was doing some shit and then like out here fighting. I can't remember his name.
She was using swords. She was beating people in hand-to-hand combat.
And then she
like
picked up her Shinsu quality faster than Bam, Kun, and Rack put together.
Yeah, me and I used to talk about that all the time. Where he used to have that little thing where he said Bam is not the most talented.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, that's what we used to always come at. I'm like, she completely like figured out hers in seconds. Like, or not seconds, but you get it. But she figured it out super quick.
She figured out
her quality and then never even used it.
But he used to also do small things like it's really hard to keep up with Dorsey without using Shinsu boost. Like he used to slip in things like that, the little tidbits, the nuance.
Yeah,
it's not there no more, bro. None of it matters anymore.
Yeah, none of it matters anymore. We gotten to a level where just none of this shit matters.
And back on the Machini thing too, with credit to Rand, I think he did a really good job too, because I think part of the reason that he showcased the data Machini is to showcase somebody similar to Rand, kind of on the come up too, because his goal is to take out Machini. I thought he did a good job with that too, because I felt like her placement there was very purposeful. But
yeah, and I thought it was really good. She was fighting somebody above her weight class,
and it's a good way to showcase what they were doing without necessarily needing like a traditional flashback. It's like this is A rank Machini. It's like this is her data when she was here. Like that's a cool way to show off how strong somebody was. Like he has, I don't know, man. Like I think you put it the best. We're not asking him to do anything we have not already experienced.
Yeah, it's not like we're asking for this series to be something that it wasn't. That's always my problem, beef with people with this series.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I've cooled off to be honest, like a lot. Like I ain't read no Raws in a while, but
bad moment is when Karaka's worried about Jin Sung's health. That's a bad moment.
No, we're not gonna talk. We good. We are good.
I was so hyped when she said little brother, power of flashbacks, done right. Look how strong his sister and brother were in the data world. Mainline Kuns are wild. I always believed that the most of Bam's potential was from him being the son of two family heads rather than his irregular status. It could be a combination of all of those things. I guess that's well taken. I never actually thought about that portion of it, but that's well taken. But I do. I mean, I made the video speaking about it, but the reason why I don't like when people just run to the irregular thing because I don't think people understand the real reason. Like the result, because the rules don't apply to you, will make irregulars busted and broken in the end game. But they're not broken solely because the rules don't apply to them, right? Sorry, they're not broken just for broken sake. They're broken because it's the equivalent of us all playing a sport like soccer, and I can handball. I can pick it up and run. What are you gonna do? You can't hit me because you kick me, it's a foul. But I can pick the ball up and fucking throw it in the net. That doesn't mean that Glam is not hasn't trained nice and he's nice, even though he's only using his feet. It doesn't take that away from him. But at the end of the day, it's gonna be much easier for me to excel because I'm doing a fucking handball. He gonna ask the
Right.
ref to do shit. I don't have to ask the ref to do nothing. Fuck the administrator. You see what I'm saying? Like people don't take the actual reasoning for why they end up becoming broken. They just see the end result. Enryu, Fanta, whatever, broken. Therefore, Bam must be.
You see, I was just gonna say, I said we gotta stop. Like they're irregulars, but the comparisons between Bam and the other irregulars gotta stop because, as far as we know, all of them had combat skills and like super lives before they even got there. Before they even got in the tower, like we don't know how strong Iryu was before he got into the tower. He might have already been broken. The tower just made him more broken. Same thing with Jihad and his people. Like they were already like adventurers and experience of some kind. We just don't know like exactly what, but we know they had some level of experiences and stuff already. Straight from the fact that they were adults too, like
Mm-hmm.
mega adults already. Like Bam basically started from zero. I'm not saying like that's not saying that like he couldn't grow super fast, but I really think it would have been important for him to show some lust to lose first times without doing so. I know it's just like, oh, that's how you try to balance showing his potential all the time with him, you know, growing and not overcoming people. But I'm just like, you don't gotta be afraid to show Bam losing. Like losing because of inexperience is not a bad thing. And I thought that was what
Yeah.
was gonna happen in this series. I didn't think Bam was going to be losing to people because he was weaker than them. I never really thought that. I
No.
thought he'd be losing because I thought he'd be playing on playing fields that were not to his advantage to make up for his irregular status. Especially when everybody's supposed to know by now that he's an irregular. I still don't understand that either. Like people have seen other irregulars. If we go by what everybody talks in the comment section, and everybody's like, "Oh, an irregular is supposed to do this." So if they've already dealt with irregulars before and they know a regular is coming to do this, then why don't they have like at least try to make contingency plans
Mm-hmm.
against people potentially like this coming in the tower? They don't even try to make level playing fields or try to put their people in good positions where they would have an advantage versus Bam. That don't happen. Like I said, the only time that happens is when he fight Elaine. She's not. She wasn't stronger than him. She wasn't probably stronger than a lot of people who came into the namehood station. But what happened? The namehood station had rules. It had
Mm-hmm.
things that if you didn't know, you were going to lose. Wasn't Dorsey weaker than her? No,
Probably not.
or maybe a little, or probably a little bit, but not like a lot. But she lost because she didn't know the rules.
Exactly. You're talking about it, bro. Now I
That's
wanted
that's
games.
all I
We at
be
the
asking.
cat tower. Oh, leave me alone, dog. Leave me alone. This is not what I asked for. This fake ass Mario Party board shit. Rachel's an irregular. I'm whooping her. They
Yeah,
don't
and
even care about the regulars now. They be talking about access at the tower. Like, well, I don't know, bro. It is what it is. Again, this story had a clear and obvious paradigm shift that I think a lot of people are being, as Vince would say, obtuse about. I'll be honest, but hey, but
it's all good. Like I said, I don't really like we just because I'm reminiscing. I'm being nostalgic, but like
nah, I'm about to
honestly, at this
switch the
point, I'm
title
just kind of
and talk
I'm
about
with
how
Nye.
Divorce
It is
Divorce
what it
Theory.
is.
Yeah,
I'm cool with what's going on right now.
yeah.
I'm cool with Machine. barking out orders, telling them to go do new shit. Cause I still like the lore and shit in the tower. That's really what I'd be here for. I'd be like, oh, what's about to get revealed? What mystery coming up next? Then I'd be happy. Then what, like the other stuff? Yeah, I don't really care like that.
All right, everyone, refresh the page. Oh, we got a new email coming, by the way. I am one moved emo. Shout out to Babe. She got that made for me. Shout out to Mickey, got that made for me. It's clean. It's clean. It's coming soon. I gotta implement it. I don't know. I forgot how to Twitch. I mean, I never knew how to. I'll be honest, but but yeah, refresh. We're talking about moments now, and I'm about to go to the moment I want to talk about first. Because did you guys see the video I made with talking about the Urek clash being the worst moment in Tower of God?
Yes.
Now,
Yeah.
slight hyperbole, just because like I think there's other moments that are equally as bad, but this is one of the moments that the more I progress through the series, the worse it is. Especially like I'm looking at it in a hindsight. In the moment, it didn't bother me. I was very transparent about that. When I first saw it happen, I was like oh my god, like that's crazy. But it's like the further down you go in the story and you see the progression of Bam, you understand how powerful Urek is. You see Bam struggle to crack Caliban. He can only kind of crack him when there's already a crack in him made by friggin' Hajin Sung. And then like, bro, I don't care if he singed one leg hair on Urek's body. That's a big ass feat. That's crazy. It just and it's not lost on me that he's not trying. I hate how people are like, well, I don't think he's trying. I'm like, you thought he was trying?
But my thing is, what does that mean? Like, what
No,
does not
that doesn't change my problem with the scene. That's what they didn't get. I don't care that he's not trying. How did he wound him?
no. Yeah, no. But my thing is, not trying is more is as far as he wasn't trying to kill Bam. What does that have to do with his defense capabilities?
Yeah, he. I
That
was gonna
fight,
say,
that
does he
moment.
literally take his like a berry? Like it's sorry. Don't forget we're
No,
gonna
go ahead.
say Lamp. It's like me
Yeah.
being Kryptonian under the yellow sun, and I'm just like, I'm taking away my. I don't. How do you can't do that? I'm as strong as how strong as I am. Unless I'm holding
Yeah,
kryptonite in my
exactly.
hand.
For defense, that doesn't make sense. For offense, yeah, we know offense he wasn't trying to kill him. But
Yeah.
for defense, that has never been a rule. Like it'd be one thing where he just like, oh, you know what? Bam, throw your strongest attack at me, and I'm gonna just stand here and let it hit me.
Mm-hmm.
And if he somehow got scratched by that, well, it would still be silly, but at least it would make a little bit more sense.
Yeah.
That's not what happened. They were clashing, and within the clash, he got scratched a little bit.
That moment
And
to
it
me is what sets the precedent for all the bad shit that happens later on in the series and allows him to have like a little excuse as why it can happen. Because that is the beginning of, oh, it's an irregular, therefore he breaks the rule bullshit in the story. Because we had known that he could do certain things, but when you're in, because it's orders of magnitude worse because he's an irregular, not applying rules to another irregular. That's the
yeah,
other issue too.
yeah, that's the yeah. Because if he did, like, let's say that's not Yurik in that example. Let's just say that's a ranker,
It's
and he
still bad,
scratches him,
but
but
not
it
as
works. But it works though. Yeah, it's still bad, but you can get away with it there.
Mm-hmm.
But another irregular, especially how strong Yurik is
and
supposed to
also
be.
specifically which irregular it is too is another thing. Because Yurik
4.
came into the tower stupid broken.
A lot of people say that. I don't know why, but he was still strong. Very least.
Yeah.
Stronger than Bam at least. Oh no, I'll be fine. I'll be fine if you go back in time and change perspectives. New emotes, yes sir. Came with Jod. Tower also chose them. We know that because GOG only trained those people. If we dial back to regulars fighting without Bam, I have a single problem. Honestly, I didn't even think a high ranker could scratch a record if you're not trying. Such focus on the why and why as opposed to the who. Did Rachel meet the Guard of Guardians? Because that's a weird metric to use. Oh, he's gonna look at Calvin and go, "What was that? A jab?" Hey, that wasn't. Since she wasn't chosen, she wasn't even allowed to climb until you met her. Until you let her. Did the Guard of Guardians make a specific point to say, "I don't care if you came out the tower or you'd be chosen by the tower"? Will this scene be more acceptable if the Thorn did the damage? Nope.
No,
It wouldn't. Now I know what.
because here's my thing.
Okay, go ahead.
Oh, okay. No, just real quick. I'm just saying because here's my thing, right? If they were worried about Bam, because this is when it started seeming silly to me. If you were worried about Bam getting one shot or getting taken out by Karaka, and then Yurik beat Karaka with 1% of his power in a finger, How did Bam scratch him? All right, continue.
Yeah, it's one of those things where too like I understand that power scaling to this degree and stuff is not supposed to be looked at under this level of scrutiny. I understand that, but there's just so much things that happen after that make no sense to me. I actually would be okay if this happened literally right now in
Yeah,
Bam's whatever
facts.
mode and full power. But I'm saying literally the same thing. I mean the exact same result. A nick. Not even like a nick. That's it. A little bit of blood draw. I would be okay with that right in this moment. And that's still I don't want him to actually have a legitimate scratch or like I want it to be the exact same nick that he got. Cause um Urek said that whatever Bam did, Urek perceived it. He said that wasn't just for defense and smiled and walked away. Now, I don't know if for some reason Urek's body isn't as strong as like a Caliban or something. I highly, highly doubt that. So we can't really use the caveat that it's really because Calivan's body is stronger. It's harder to break through him. I really don't believe that for a second. And sometimes people say that Bam has a weak body. I think you could say maybe weak in comparison to some irregulars we saw, but he does not have a weak body in the totality of the tower. That nigga is sturdy and extremely Shinsu resistant. So let's cut that up. we're not doing that. Um hold on real quick. This fair for me, other worst moment. Oh, I'll get to other worst moments after, but again, when I first saw this, I was fine, but as I continued in hindsight, I looked at it and go, "This is stupid. This makes sense." And like you said, it's the defense thing that bothers me. It's like unless somebody could willingly show me an instance that someone says, "I am weakening my defenses," so that attacks that would not normally hurt me can now hurt me, which means Bam somehow admitted enough power with whatever he did to nick him there. You go, okay, we understand the point of this scene is to show Bam will be on this level someday. Cause not even 1,000 rankers could have heard a wreck. And then you see what he did in the floor of death, and you go, this is no fucking way. Because I would argue, this is why I want to talk about the Thorn thing. I know why people bring that, because the Thorn is kind of supposed to be something that Andrew had prepared to slit the throat of the king. So it's supposed to be kind of so to speak, strong enough to take down Jihad if it's used by an irregular. We know about the contracts. Well taken. And also, I would argue the red Thressa is probably to some degree the strongest thing, really stronger than the Thorn, because it's the only thing that I've seen made Yuri bleed.
Yeah.
You didn't have that here. And the
Nope.
Thorn's not out.
Yep.
So he just did this with whatever punch, and he did this while defending Masang. I think you forget
Yep.
that part because she's right there, jumping in, completely not knowing what the fuck's going on. She just jumped after that little fucking flower of Zagania. Like you have to take in all those moving parts. I know I didn't go to that level of detail in the video because I didn't feel like listening to a lot of y'all whine about my negativity there. But this is one of those scenes. In retrospect, in hindsight, terrible moment. It doesn't even portray what you want to portray. Actually, it makes Urek, if not look like his skin or defense is weak, he looks incompetent. And I would argue that he showed me enough level. Like I'm not gonna call him the most astute, observant dude in the world, but he showed me a level of intuition, understanding deeper than what he lets on when he put two and two together. That Bam was an irregular on the floor of death, and the way that he kind of goes about his daily life. He's not stupid because
Mm-hmm.
even when that attack hit him, he said, "Wait, that wasn't for defense." He saw the attack. Nothing caught him off guard. You feel what I'm saying? So bad moment. We can move on now. Sorry.
No, yeah, I'm with you. We good. And just it's, yeah, I say because my whole thing, like I said, it's just what does that mean for defense? Yeah, I understood what the moment was about, and I actually still not even like I get what you're saying. So when you say, I said, you know what? Actually, when you put it like that, that makes a lot of sense. But even then, I still probably would think it was like the worst moment in the series. But I did
Hmm.
think it was an incredibly dumb moment when you look back at it. Cause you're just like, oh, what the fuck?
I think
But like, I
Bam
wasn't trying to
Glam's
think of
point's
that big
well
deal.
taken too, because this is one of those moments where he has like almost like a scapegoat. Like he tries to direct. I mean, there's some people if you talk to them, they think Bam was mixing or actually pushing Mew Love. because of the way that he kind of portrays it. I'm not even mad at him for thinking that. I have all the ancillary and extra information plus actual reading comprehension to know that's not true, but I could still see why you could make that mistake. Some people
Yeah.
really thought that. Some people are shocked to see that Milov's even doing what he did today. I'm like, he's a ranker. You forget. So
It also because, like I said,
what's up,
he
Beast
didn't
Artist?
allow rankers to put Bam in a high pressure situation where Bam's life would have been in danger.
He
That's
almost got
why
him with Charlie. Almost.
see, that's what I'm saying. That's why I wanted that Charlie moment so bad. I didn't need Charlie like everybody acts like when you say you need Bam to be like, I don't need Bam to die, man. Like everybody was like, you need Bam die or on the cusp of death. But like, even just the fact that Charlie could have caught him off guard and hit him with a critical blow, that would have completely changed your perception of how far Bam had to go. Cause you're just like, look at this guy. This is a guy who was a newly appointed ranker, and that's why it was such a perfect situation.
Mm-hmm.
That guy was new. He was new, and you would have gave him an opportunity to get this a regular, put him in a move he had never seen before, something he had never prepared for, hit him with a blow, and I didn't need to kill him. But if it would have put I don't even want to say a serious injury, just an injury on Bam, you would have realized how far he had to go in multiple parts of training and in the Shinsu and shit like that. Cause he like his destructive power is all time, all time, all time. But there's other facets to this tower shit, man. There's shit you got to prepare for that you ain't never seen before.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way I was looking at it. Cause just like I'm kind of looking at it like a basketball analogy, I guess. That's the closest thing I got. Like Bam could get you 30. We know that.
Mm-hmm.
But there's other parts of the game. There's rebounding, there's defense, there's assists. You want to be an all-time. You want to win the chip, you got to add those parts to your game. Scoring 30 not going to be enough.
Facts.
That's the way I was looking at it, but
Yeah. But I wonder how the blue demon that Bam got in between season 1 and 2 and how it compares to what? Oh, I don't know. We'll just have to see. It's one of those things we'll have to wait until we get it. 77 are gonna go crazy. I do think Wall Hike Song will be really good. People thought Bam was left at the Mew Love. This was really an argument I used to have all the time, for real. Augustus even said he shouldn't have held back if he was trying to stop FUG. Yeah, and Mulov gave him a chance. He's like, all right, we're playing literal like baseball. 3 strikes and you're out. Why would you give him a chance like that? Like if he really wanted to just kill him, he could have killed him, but he didn't. So they said, watch Bam kill Traumare. That'd be so wild. I don't know if I could keep reading. That might just be a full stop. Just I might do the thing where like I'll pretend I never read this. That is a full stop. But anyways, let's go back. Let's talk about some other moments. I have one if no one has any in mind. For a really bad moment in the series. We'll talk about our
go
favorite.
ahead.
We'll talk about our favorites too. Don't worry.
Oh, I have. You can go have a couple. Then.
Okay. Go ahead.
No, you go.
Well, mine is the
after,
Karaka. Chewbacca switch up. Did you really kill my master? I said, bro, who is talking to me?
Bro, I really could just uh add to that with my one of my favorite characters. I don't even know if he's in my top 5 anymore because of what happened. But Submerged Fish, my boy
Oof.
Yuha's son. How he went from I thought he's gonna be this meticulous, calculating guy to like he almost died 3 times in one arc. And then, recently he tried to redeem him a little bit. And cool. But like the damage had been done.
Mm-hmm. That's just.
Boy could not fight, man. Shouldn't be out there.
Where's that moment, bro? I'm trying to find it. There it is. Oh God! He talks with him. Fucking, he says that you keep making rescuing you. There's such a nuisance. You must be a slayer. Is it true that my master is dead? Yeah, Hodge and Song. I mean, I'm one of his students too. You sure? Are you sure he's dead, Squadron Commander? No, but he was practically dead. This is one of those weird moments in the last issue that I can't take seriously because he's all over the place. Like I didn't, blah blah yada yada. But y'all just talk for a quick second. Keep going. Bring up a moment or something, or you could keep going with this one. I gotta pee.
All right. Well, I guess, and then I'll bring up another moment on top of this. Vecca Hell recently, not good. Vecca Hell was built up. This entire time, we thought her rank means something. We thought her fire burn means something. She got washed.
All she done is get big. That's all she's done.
What happened to the elephant? Where the elephant at? That's what I'm here for. That's when I bought into her
The
hype
fire
somewhat.
elephant, the elephant that boosts all her super powerful, quote unquote, super powerful flames. Where's the orb at?
Yeah, that's what I wanted. Where's the
Her
elephant?
Yamamoto-esque orb in Last Station that was just burning the whole floor.
Yeah, that's facts. That's what I wanted. I was like, oh, look at that. Like, I don't mind her getting injured or critically injured, nothing like that. But that's when the fight's supposed to really start. Look at Vacant Hell. She got critically injured. All right, we finna step it up to the next level. You know what happened? She got washed and they just walked away. She got washed so badly she was embarrassed. They had to talk to her. Come on. We saw it. We saw it with our own eyes. We saw you on the Summer Jam screen.
To be quite honest, she should be, other than Trauma Ray, like the second or third strongest person in this fight right now. If the hype held true.
Man, listen. If okay, let's throw out the rank, right? Because sometimes we forget that rank don't matter quite as much as it should because it's just like it's not all about power. It's about reputation. Okay. Let's just throw all that out. Just based off of we haven't seen her full capabilities. We haven't seen her step it up to the next level. It would have been a good showcasing to show that. Give her a chance, and we didn't get that. We didn't get a chance to see her do nothing to the next level.
Thank God.
Okay.
I was talking about Vacant Hell getting washed in 2.2 seconds without showing any of her true potential, and it was so bad that even the other two people on the sideline, Mila Love and the Spider Dude, looking at her like, "Come on, man."
I mean, she should have.
Like you got destroyed, packed up by my mom. And Mila's like, I know you're embarrassed, but come on.
That's what I'm saying. Like, that's really bad, bro. Mila Love, come on.
And people are people that comment saying I like a Van Cat because she's like the Kenpachi of the series. You never liked Bleach or Kenpachi. Very, very unserious statement. What? She's nothing like that. Not even a little bit.
For me, it's every time I just think back. I think back to Last Station. I remember when she busted out her orb for the first time, and then the whole floor just lit on fire, and it took another floor ruler to come out of nowhere to even put her in check, and she was still pressing everybody else on the floor while fighting the floor ruler with the entirety of the army around her. And now it's reduced to what? Just on the ground dead from some spider bitch in her leg.
I actually think her first introduction isn't that impressive because they blocked her attack.
Yeah.
Then Sharon breaks her lightsaber and shit like that. Like she got like a lot of like she still was impressive. Don't get me wrong, but I was just like, yo.
I mean, to me, it was like she was just approaching everything very nonchalantly. Like,
here's
here's
what I don't like.
For you,
this is a personal thing. Personal thing.
Mm-hmm.
If I am not by a convincing amount the absolute strongest, or I truly believe that, I hate characters that like hold back and like are like super nonchalant about shit like that. Cause it's like, bro, you're not the most powerful.
Yeah.
So why are you walking around like you couldn't get got by somebody? You feel what I'm saying? If I am Phantom Minim, I could act like that. I'll just stand there and just stand there.
Yeah. Well, you go ahead, Naya. Go ahead. No, you're finishing your point.
Yeah, like I never like that kind of stuff because like, especially when they make certain statements about how powerful they're, like, but you're not the strongest.
See, I got a small pushback for you for the moment.
Go ahead.
See, now the reason I thought she was kind of holding back is for the reason that kind of happened. They always talk about we can't unleash our full powers on these floors.
That's
we
fair.
Can't unleash our full powers because of the administrator, stuff like that.
And especially
she had
for
reasons.
A character of her caliber at that time.
Right, exactly. At the time she was introduced, I thought she had reasons for not.
We thought she was top 60. That was the thing.
So like her presence is like a huge presence to be unleashing that type of power there. So I was like, oh, okay, so it makes sense she's not going full out. She just wants to do the bare minimum so that the Jihad army will leave.
No, I actually agree with that. Yeah, that's a good point.
Because she wasn't really, to me, like that. Every time
she
was
summoned Elliot by going too much, going too high.
Yeah, because exactly. Like for me, it's like what I took it as where she's burning up the whole floor. It seemed casual to me. Like her weakest attack is doing shit like this. Is the way I looked at it during then.
Okay.
Because I bought the hype and there was no reason not to.
Yeah, what I was saying before when you left, when you came back, I didn't have a problem with her getting injured by the big spider mom, especially since she said,
she's a floor ruler.
like, yeah. But my thing is, see, that's when the fight's really supposed to start, right then and there. That's when the fight's supposed to start. Oh, if Becky Hill got injured, now she finna turn up, pull the elephant back out. Like, okay, you injured me, cool. But like, you're not leaving here like that.
I think one of the things we're go ahead.
No, I was gonna say another thing is like, especially considering like the hype we got around Shinsu orbs being a very rare quality, and then she was the second person we've ever seen have it, and the first person was fucking Bam. I was like, oh my god, this person's built different. It's like my orb is basically the sun on this floor.
And the ancient elephant rack looking at it like that feels familiar.
Yeah.
Like, come on, bro.
So she's patting against.
And then Ratchet came and said, "Your flame ain't shit. It's not even Eon friendly." Shut up, bro. Like,
no, that was crazy, son. She should have pulled out another attack right then and there, because ain't nobody talking to me like that. I don't care if it's Yasarachi or not. I'm be like, bro, all right, that's a bet. I'm like, maybe it's not as hot as theirs, but I got other shit they don't. Watch this. And then I would have did some other shit. But see, none of that happened. Or like, SIU didn't even try to make it like, oh, like the Spider Mom was like, oh, I just don't have like the facilities or the time to deal with you right now. Like, she attacked her, and then Vecchia Hill's about to get serious. That's not what happened. Vecchia Hill was out there playing dead.
But
I'm like, oh, that's worse than anything you could have ever did.
I do want to see, but here's the thing I want to get into, because I think this is one of those things where I think maybe me and certain readers have a disconnect. Because sometimes you understand that I don't divorce a character's personality from their like fighting style and things of that nature. The reason I bring it up is because what I think she did more so than anything was fucking stupid. I'm not saying just because someone says, "Yo, this is the water from Kami and fucking Korra and Divine Water," like I could be capping. I understand that, but you heard, "Hey, yo, this is a family treasure, a treasure from the family had gifted straight to me." Blah blah blah. Also, didn't have the wherewithal to even know who you were fighting, which means you're ignorant, right? So two strikes already. You attack the shield and you attack the shield. You didn't even attempt to go around a fucking shield. You attacked it and got packed up. You're a fucking dumbass. It's the same thing I say about Jack. Oh, whatever, durability is still alive. Why did you attack the ship in the first? Who the fuck did you think you were?
See,
I
agree. I agree with half your
It has Sudo on this ship and goddamn Sengoku. You're a fucking dumbass. That's my problem. And wait, I'm not done.
Okay,
and with characters who are supposed to be alive for this long and this whatever, even if your personality is ape, I expect experience from you.
Especially if you're a floor ruler.
See. I agree with you. I agree with you on that point. The ignorance thing, I'm gonna let slide because everybody in this fucking series is ignorant. Nobody ever knows what the hell is going on.
But that's stupid for how long they live. That doesn't agree. I don't.
No, I agree. I agree with you. But as far as the context of the series, my thing is, if you attack the shield right, she didn't even have a monologue moment where she was like, that seems like a strange weapon. I'm not sure what it does. Maybe I should be careful. Like, she didn't even do that. She was just like, I'm angry. You irritated me. Attack, then get washed. What? I'm like, you should at least have the wherewithal, especially since you're supposed to, quote unquote, go from battlefield to battlefield. You should be used to dealing with threats that you haven't engaged in before, that you never seen before. So you should at least have to like if the Spider Mom hit you with some shit that you didn't see coming after you try to plan or something like that, because you didn't know one of her abilities, or didn't know that shield activated a certain something, like on some Yu-Gi-Oh type shit, like, okay, that's fine. But that's not what happened. She attacked, and the Spider Mom just basically treated her like a child. She just grabbed her and just stabbed her. I was like, man, you
what's up, cousin? You good? Like, you good?
She was like, you stink. And then I'm like, and that was just so like there's no way any of us, well, none of us, like maybe not other people, probably more casual fan or somebody who doesn't care about that type of stuff, they'll probably see one rematch, but it's like, I don't want to see a rematch. I don't want to see them fight again. I have no interest in that anymore.
I know. Yeah, again, like I think some people sometimes mistake. Like I'll say something and they don't get my reasoning behind it. So I wanted to come here to explain that sometimes, like I actually have like Vince's point is still well taken. No, every character in this series is at a natural level of ignorance for whatever reason. So this is not out of character for most of the high rankers and whatnot. But I think that's problematic. It's to the
It's so
point.
silly. Yeah, it's
It's
so
to the
silly,
point
bro.
that I'm okay with character with Bam. I actually, as much as it still annoys me, I'm like, if he's doing a regular thing that you have not seen, okay, what can I say about that? That's why, like, one of the people that I actually definitely excused for being how shocked he was is if I'm Leo Love on the 20th floor and niggas are using fast skip, I'm confused. Why do you know that? Like, that's understandable
Yeah,
as
facts.
an E
Fact.
rank. How the fuck are you using fast skip? Like, you shouldn't be able to do that. I get it. That's well taken. But like, there's certain things that they see that happen. I'm like, you've never dealt with anything like this, or there's not some type of experience during your climb that you can call upon to help you in your current predicament. Why are you all fucking dumb and just condescending? I'm
For
a
me,
high
it's just
ranker.
it's,
I'm the
it's
strongest
just
ever. No, you're not. You're not even strongest in your family. You have a fucking inferiority. Wow, can we speak? Inferiority complex. Like, you. Why are you all like this? The thing about me is, if I'm in this universe and I'm 20, I'm training, nigga. I'm training until I feel I'm number one, or else I'm not out here like that. I'm moving a specific type of way. Because if I arrive the trauma ray, I'm done. I'm not moving recklessly like that. That's stupid.
Nah, I would even do that.
I think it's worse for certain characters considering the roles they have. Like for Evenko, I think it's compounded even more so because again, you're the floor ruler of the testing floor of the tower.
Mm-hmm.
And you're telling me you don't have some sort of smarts involved with running or
Mm-hmm.
managing that. Like, come on,
Not,
bro. You know what, Naya? You know what I think a good comparison is for this? It's the way you and I feel about Hawkins and how he
Ah,
got just completely hoed by
yeah.
Oda. I think Evankel's the same way, but compounded on because Evankel's supposedly a top tier and Hawkins was never that.
That's actually a really well said because of the position and how she's presenting, how important it was, and how and I think I like this is some of the things in storytelling I try to speak about, but I try not to let affect too much. But your experience, like the real time that we waited from the first name drop to actual reveal, was something like 8 years, if
She
not.
was mentioned in like chapter 3.
So you're maybe a decade actually, pretty much like a decade. Like
Yeah.
that stuff matters to me. Where I go like, yeah, I understand. Like, I speak about my hunter experience, but that nigga scribbling and being 100 hiatuses because I didn't get into it in 2011 like a lot of people did. Where I'm
Yep.
like, that obviously doesn't change the contents, but my how I experienced the narrative is not the same as a lot of you did. A lot of you had some nice, crisp animation, start to finish, no breaks really. I had to watch niggas scribble, so it's different. I don't like when we don't admit that plays into how we perceive the series overall.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, so but nah man, like this I didn't bring this moment up, but I agree with you. Like Van Kel's moment against Spider Mommy, terrible. Like
She got
again,
hoed.
like she's stupid. I just don't like that. I can't mess with that. So yeah,
we're doing bad moments, right?
yeah. Go ahead.
Oh, I don't know if it's a moment, but I mean, there's so many moments in the cage arc, like the whole Dang Dang and Louis shit. The Dang Dang backstory is so bad, man. I don't. That shit's so bad.
Yep, that's just awful.
Ooh.
And them trying to make me care about it.
The
God,
Dang Louis, I'm your father tape B.
like that was
Oh,
not
what else?
that moved nobody. Fucking Gadoo. Um,
Last station.
I'm about to say the last station. I was gonna say the backstory with So Young and the fucking guy in the wheelchair and him trying like we used to
Oh
climb the
yeah.
top. Nobody gives a fuck. Why are you telling me this?
Shout out
Keep
Oh my
Blackfoot.
god.
deepest, darkest, blackest
Blackest foot.
foot. Like,
The only good thing that came out of that old man's backstory is Elaine coming back and being his ass. Like that's the only good thing.
I feel that. Worst
Oh,
moments of all the panels of Dawn. That's a good question. But
the one is
speaking of that,
great.
I actually so my one friend was talking to me about the Rachel push being the worst moment. I obviously packed him up and told him why he was wrong. He ended up agreeing with me after the fact. He wasn't being emotional in my opinion though because he actually likes Rachel. But that second push to me is awful because it doesn't have any the same emotional weight and build up that the first one did. I think he just did it to do it to be like, oh, it happened again. Did anyone else feel that?
Yeah, it wasn't nearly as impactful as the first one. But I will
Yeah.
say that it did have a different
What's up,
vibe
Nate?
to that push
Mhm.
because of Bam's physical performance before that even occurred. Like what you just see him snap
Yeah.
and go off against all these people before getting on the train is like holy shit. You could tell he was serious about wanting to see her again,
Yeah.
whatever his intentions were at the time.
I don't know.
Like it was different, but
To go back
I
to the
wouldn't say.
cave. I don't know. Even I'm like, bro, what are you saying?
Yeah,
Let's go back.
yeah.
No, nigga, we're just in a cave. This shit's trash. I'm not trying to go back either. What are you saying about unforgivable? Shoot.
Wait, not one thing I was not thinking about. What did his friends think? His friends try to help him, and he's like, and you see them say, "Yo, let's ditch all of my friends and go back to the cave." Like I would not.
That stuff.
I'd be
That stuff
annoyed
doesn't
if
go.
I was his
That
friend.
stuff doesn't. I don't know. This is what it is.
What about this? Have
Hawkins
you
went
done the
out
mission
bad.
or not?
Hawkins was a bozo. He wasn't a bozo, but he went out bad though. He did go out sad. Cause and I'm not going on that tangent. They almost got me. They almost got me. I'm a law fan now, bro. I switched up. Y'all having a conversation there. I hated the Benjamin and Horiang stuff. I'm actually not a fan of that either.
Oh wait, another one I have is Rachel went back and confronted Rachel after Coon's death. That shit was so bad.
Okay, save that. We're gonna talk about it. I actually want to know if anybody has a problem with Urex being on the floor of death, because that's actually a common criticism that I've seen for years about the floor of death. The fact that he's even here. I don't any of us have that sentiment that it's problematic that he's there because it undercuts any and all tension. Number 4 in the tower is here. No? Okay. To the Rachel thing then. I'll be curious because I know Haku was one of the people who was he's pretty vocal about that. He's not really a big fan of the Floor of Death, and he's the person that I know has been reacting on YouTube to Tower of God the longest. It's one of those things where I understand it, but I'm okay with it because I think the actual intent of what SLU was trying to do, I think he succeeded in doing it, so it doesn't bother me. But you said which one? The Rachel after they hit the floor, so it's probably the next page 14. Yep, around here because you have the bandage on his neck and the horns here. There we go, Black Turtle. But yeah, what's bad about this moment though? Talk to me.
Oh, the Rachel and
Yeah.
thing. Like it's just the whole thing. Like your friend is dead, and like he doesn't even try. There's no blood. Like he doesn't even try to hit her or anything. Like he just.
Well, it's on a
How's your friend?
strong gust of wind in their direction though.
My bad. He gave him a stern warning. That should really.
Yeah. Hmm. Yeah.
This is probably the start of Bam not liking his friend anymore because he does like. If I died as my friend did not.
Hmm. Hold on. It was a Rex job. Oh, he said I personally I don't have a problem with that because Bam's purpose in the floor is not to defeat El Joe. It's a Rex job. Fair enough. He just got that randomly. You think Bam can beat Hell Joe now though? Yeah, he could beat him probably. I think the thing that made Hell Joe extremely dangerous was really his ability to command Shinsu on the floor. But Bam could always use it, and with the strength that he has now, and he would technically now also have the Red Thresta versus the Red Thresta, he'll be fine. He'll be okay. But I don't know if I'm at the point where I just don't doubt Bam anymore. You know how they say like, why doubt LeBron this many years in and shit like that? Like I'm at the point where I see enough. I believe. I'm not about to fight against fate. I believe. I'm sorry. I expect a 40-point triple double every game, with him shooting over 50% from the field and from three. Shit at this point. So that's what I always expect from him. But I think this moment is bad because like I don't know. I understand how the story is trying to frame it, but it doesn't resonate with me personally because I'm like, you're as far as you understand in this moment, if I am recalling this correctly, your friend's heart just got blown up, so he's fucking dead. This was your reaction. Rachel, if you do that one more time, I'm gonna have to kill you. Like, what? It's just like I thought SIU was doing a decent job of to some degree showing that Bam was obviously very conflicted with his relationship with Rachel, but that he was moving on and had his own friends and current companions that he cared about or learned to care about equally, if not more. Especially when you think about the fact that he was Juvio Gray solely to defend his friend from FUG. So when this moment happened, I did not expect him to be as soft as he was. And I think it doubly frustrated me because Rachel wins this interaction by holding information about his heritage that he needs or wants over his head and dips. Rack, by the way, you had one fucking job and Yura got away from you. You stink. I hate you. I'm not supposed to hate you, Rack. All you do is upset me, bro. I can't stand him no more. God damn it. Anywho.
Yeah. Imagine at least give put some like scar or like did something to Rachel to make her know that this shit's like
Mm,
you know it's officially over. You know,
yeah.
we're not you can't do anything, but
Yeah, Rachel won, bro. She did. The only thing that can be a threat to Bam at this point is a family leader, and that the joke is like, are they? Like, I'm not even sure anymore. I'm not even sure at this point. That's the crazy part. But oh, I didn't even realize Vince was gone. But okay. Did anyone have any bad moments they feel they need to highlight, or we can talk about
Nope.
some of their favorite ones?
Nope. I'm good.
Got any favorite moments that stick out to you? If you don't, if
Jihad,
I'm about to say about the first one I was
Florida.
gonna bring up, I'm gonna go right to the chapter too, cause
I mean, I have one that's pure meathead, but the moment when Yurik does he punches the air in the four death,
10%
and then
punch.
you see, when you see the mountain range and the literal ocean get obliterated.
Cause UJ or UG, whatever his name is, he is way above the administrator's corpse, and you
Yep.
could still see the after effect and aftershock of a 10% non-bloodlusted punch. Cause remember,
Like,
he's not trying to kill slash hurt Hell Joe. He still cares about it, trying to get him out of there. So he's
like,
not
it,
even like
like
a yeah. Go ahead.
at the time, I don't think I'd ever seen a feat portrayed of like power and strength
Mm-hmm.
portrayed in that manner and given such gravitas since I had seen like certain shit DC does with Superman.
Okay.
Like it's not something you usually see in manhwa or even manga, to be honest. Like in the way it was done,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I agree.
just the sheer magnitude of the feat itself was just it was I was awestruck at the time.
Even if you look at his poke against Karaka, you know how much damage he does, structural damage he does to the ground and environment around him. Go look at it
Mm-hmm.
again. He's fucking strong, dude, and that's him suppressed to like 1%. That's why I brought that moment up being really really hard to swallow as like oh yeah, this is a great moment to show. Nah, it's not really good. Chat saying Kun Rak and Bam getting some of White's power is the worst to me. That's egregious. We could talk about that in a second too. But I hear you. I feel like the next time we meet a Rak, his portrayal will be much higher to kind of fit what we're getting from the family heads now. It's possible. I wouldn't be surprised if he had to showcase him in a more crazier light to offset like what he did already, especially from a defensive standpoint. But yeah, I'm gonna start with the Jihad thing because for me, this moment is so good, and it isn't even the last of the compounded great moments because this hidden floor had so much great stuff happening. The data of two irregulars, Quinn and Dwan, and blah blah blah.
Mm-hmm.
You kind of showcase that I would argue Bam looks a little incompetent in comparison to at least these two.
Yes.
By the time he's on this specific floor, that doesn't mean his growth rate since then hasn't been better than theirs or anything of the sort. But I'm like, Kunathon has three Shinsu qualities. And this nigga can use Shinwan Ryu. And you're over here like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm stupid, right? So it's like he looks incompetent in comparison to them, learn about tension. And to me, this is where Bam starts to take leaps and strides, and his growth rate is massive from this point on, right? We also had like the fact like, okay, we were building up this fight. This fight didn't go well. Bam, blah, blah, on a regular. Okay, we sort of won. Boom, Dada Jihad comes. I mean, Jihad comes with his power in the fatal floor. That's crazy. But even after that, the three orders, killed everyone on the Hell Train. I can't remember what the other one was, and it could be a regular or someone on the Hell Train, and then the last one was to just like create war with the Lopobia family, like this.
No, it was Destroy
Fug.
Food was the second one.
Yeah, Destroy Fug.
Okay, was it one of them? But destroy everyone in the Hell. Because wait, you're right. Oh no, you're right. So it's destroy.
It was kill everybody on the Hell
FUG,
Train.
destroy. Yes, okay, and then okay, yeah. Because
I mean, for me, when Jihad actually pulled up, like at the time, because I wasn't really paying attention to what was being said, I thought he had literally physically entered into that area.
we did too until we were at the blog post. The blog post is what set us straight, so we were snapping for sure. But yeah, we did too. The blog post made that clear. It's a portion of its power that leaked through because it's supposed to be inactive and all kind of stuff like that. So yeah.
But yeah, I thought like that moment had actually woke him up and he had become active because of it.
Yeah, which would have been crazy in hindsight. That's just, so it's still such a good moment to the point where it's like it's one of the few chapters in Tower of God that I know exactly where to go to. Like, you know, like season 2, 305, like 385. Like I know exactly where this chapter is. I've never lost the page.
Like I could use a comparison. It's like if you're reading One Piece and you hear about Yonko beforehand, and you just see Kaido show up on like Water 7, like in the pre-skip.
Then he's like, "Didn't I kill you already?" He's like, "Wait, what?" So
nah, he was moving mad. Like, that nigga, oh my goodness, and he still see that's still one of the characters that have a very good, or at least if we go by his last appearance. His level of writing for that specific character is still really high class.
I don't think
Like I
he's
said, I
missed
would
with
give him at
Jihad.
the
You could just poke fun at the fact that he's heartbroken. That's the only joke you can really make about it. But other than that, he's a good character. Portrayed really well.
yeah.
Jihad, the best irregular.
Undertaker.
I mean, you know me. You know how much I glam about that moment where he really appeared on screen and it said, "Let me tell you why I'm the king."
I'm about to find it for you. I knew you were gonna bring it up. It
Nah,
really is
people
hype
don't
though.
understand, bro. How good of a moment that is, cause like cause it was like a 10 minute into his path. We see present one, and like this is the past one, and him moving. It didn't look like his outfit was better. And it's just whole aesthetic that looked like he drew around. Jihad with the red. It's such a good panel. He just let me
And
tell you.
also the way he just completely disregards how the way Data Jihad has changed is just like, you don't even know what the fuck you're talking about.
Yeah, he really told dude. He was like, "Listen, bro, you don't understand what happened out there, man."
He's like, "Do you know?" He's like, "Do you know who I am?" He really cut his own promo, like a crazy promo.
It's like that fucking MJ ad where he's playing hoop with himself.
Yeah. Nah. Anytime Jihad's on screen, there's just like this like level of hype that you get. This isn't the like the thing, but this is the panel. I remember.
Yeah, bro, it's so
I'd also
great.
say something similar, but not as magnified, was one Yura coming on the floor of death, but then Gustang being there too. It was just like,
No, the Gustang moment is really good, where he showed up and you get to see it. Cause see, he did a really good job of making of all the I forgot their name, the 13 Great Families when they appear on screen. He makes them feel like a level above
that
everything
was the
else.
first time we'd ever seen a family leader on screen.
Yeah. He does a really good job of making them feel. They just feel like a higher being.
He's actually speaking to Madarako in the name hunt or on the workshops.
Well,
he actually sitting there, but this is like his proper.
We didn't know who that was.
Yeah. We just saw some guy.
And then we see him again, and we're like, "Oh, it's that guy!" What? Like,
Undertaker tried. He put the fear of God to Cat Hellum. He really did. Cat Hellum like, nah, bro, I'm useless now. I'm sorry. I said, bro, I hate this guy. He's so unserious. He's not moving me. I'm always unmoved by him, except for his arrows. They look cool, but another moment that I really like. I mean, I'll obviously go into a bunch of Mew Love stuff. I won't do that today. I won't be annoying today, obnoxious. But yeah, a lot of Mew Love moments. Obviously, I mean, I like Karaka when he's Karaka. He's got some of the greatest moments. Saying he's gonna kill Yuri, gonna get revenge for Pedro. Ah, Rachel getting washed by a toy bee is wrong. That was so funny, bro.
Because it came from a character too we didn't expect. We didn't expect that guy to be doing stuff.
Yeah, Yeah, he just did it too. Like, yo, nah, fuck you. Just put that fucking bee in her neck, and she was done for. um. Oh yeah, that's a great one, Katana. I don't know how I forgot that because that was actually the moment I thought of before the push for Rachel. But it's the dollar show flex that Aguero does on Rachel. Like he's like, you're dumb, you
Oh
stupid,
God,
you ugly.
goaded.
He rigged the game. She couldn't even win the coin flip. None of that. He really he embarrassed the fuck out of her there. I gotta find that.
As a Kun fan, that moment was pure satisfaction when it happened.
Yeah.
Unadulterated bliss when that shit happened.
See, it's sometimes with these moments, I don't never know how to classify because it's something I can't describe. But everybody knows when a good moment is on the screen, the atmosphere of the moment just feels different. Just everything about it.
One I think is underrated is when Rack and Paracule jump into the fight with the wolf pig fish things and their giant worm in season 1.
Oh, okay.
I like that moment a lot. Because it was just showing like, okay, we're starting, we're going. And it was just pure hype when that shit happened.
No, I agree. That's a good moment. Let me see what you guys saying. I didn't like Rachel in the Hidden Floor arc as Icarus. I mean, I can understand why. It's whatever.
We already went over the
I
Iwa one
yeah,
too.
I just pray that Bam doesn't beat every family head himself, but at a point he might do it. Yeah, he might have to at least do the finishing blow if you're trying to kill them. Because I don't think every family head is gonna end up becoming an antagonist.
Yep.
Like
Edawan and Urine already feel like two that are probably not.
Yeah, Ha and Kun are not being antagonists.
Yeah, they're gonna side. If they don't side with Bam, they'll at least probably take a more neutral position. Maybe
I think there's a good chance that Gustang will be
side
alive
with
as
Bam.
well.
Yeah, I think so too. I think part of it will be tied into like him not being like V, who he thinks is the worst person ever, and he'll take a liking to who Bam becomes.
I'm not sure what's gonna happen with Trauma Ray, but I feel like it could go either way. To be honest,
I could see him being the first one to go.
Yeah.
He gets fucked up.
Like if any family head gets taken out, captured, sealed, killed, whatever the case is, I could see him being the fall one, the Thor, the
See,
fall guy.
it's crazy because I always thought it was gonna be a Blood Matter.
So did I, because he's not immortal, but I don't think it's gonna be him. I think he's gonna get his immortality before he ends up going down the road. I think he's gonna get his contract fulfilled. So we'll see though.
He's low key cold.
You think Ari Han will stay neutral too? That's gonna be interesting just to see what he does when Urine moves.
Yeah, I think for sure he is an antagonist. I don't think there's any other way you
think.
do that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wait. We gotta make sure we talking about the right one. Are we talking about the nigga with the sword?
Not IDA?
Not
Ari Han.
Okay.
Ari
Han, I think for sure is an antagonist.
Okay. I'm just making sure. We talk about the yeah. But I think so. I agree. I probably agree too. See, my boy with the needle, I don't think so.
Yeah.
Not for sure yet. We don't know.
Funny
But sword guy, yeah, he's a problem.
I don't even know if I believe that, but they'll be in a more antagonistic role. I don't know if he'll be like but still
a villain.
Yeah.
I think for sure we'll fight him at some point.
Yeah.
Honestly, at the point where I thought, because at first when we first started reading this series, I had thoughts of, obviously the Bam's crewmates matching up against them. Now I'm starting to get to a point where I wonder if it's just gonna be like other irregulars fighting other irregulars.
There's that.
I wouldn't do that.
There's that, but I also was wondering, like, will he really try to line up all the Slayers? And the Slayers cannot be strong enough. So what I was thinking is probably for a lot of them, they might have like somebody in conjunction. So I don't remember if we know who's actually slated to take out Kudadwan, but whoever Slayer that is, I actually would argue.
Stated.
What?
I don't think it's stated.
Oh, okay. I would argue that Aguero will be there too. You know what I'm saying?
It could be like that. They partner up. Yeah.
Yeah. So like Yama has to take out whatever. Maybe Elaine. I'm just throwing it out there. Wants to become the new family head for whatever reason. So maybe Elaine is with Yama. Like that's kind of.
If Elaine doesn't do anything with Trauma Ray, L. Just huge L.
Yeah. Eurasia hates Jahat, which you're already on Team Bam. There's that. See, while I know how the story is, I don't want to go too far and just say just because they're anti-jihad, they're immediately team
Yeah,
Bam. Because
see, I was just gonna
for
say
all
that.
I
I
know,
agree with that.
Eurasia has a bad relationship with V and or Arlene. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want to go
Yeah.
that far, but I hear what you're saying. At least they're not allied with the king.
Well,
Your
also you
point's well
gotta
taken.
like we don't know all their what all of them want. Like teaming up with Bam might not be the best because you got to realize too, if Jihad's gone, right, Jihad's the reason why they're in the position that they're in.
Mm-hmm.
Another
To a
thing
degree.
you got to think about is some of these family heads might not want to ally with Bam anyway because he's going to have Loose Lick on his squad, and for sure, Loose Lick is going to be a problem for some of these family heads in combat.
Well, I'm just thinking more. I agree with you, but I just simply stand from the standpoint that like, what if they don't want the tower to change? It's not about being on Jihad's side.
Like,
It's just
I think
about
one
you
thing
don't want
people got to
things to
realize is
change.
that some of them for sure are going to be neutral and only care about what they specifically want. I think at this point.
Yeah. Or you're gonna have to do something that you're gonna have to convince them how that benefits them. Because, like you said, just because they're anti-jihad does not mean they want to uplift the power structure. If they did, they would have already did it right now. The only person who's committed to doing that seems to be Gus Stang. Everybody else, they're not doing nothing.
And I mean, it's a theory, but I'm pretty sure most of good that is just Gus Stang wants to save his daughter. Like if his daughter was good, I don't know how much would be, but
See, I always thought the one that they're trying to save, that's who's gonna fight Adori, probably.
Oh, Eurasia and
Yeah, since they're the same rank.
you know my bad premonition with the Dorians. So I think she.
Bam Coon.
I think that's Bam. I think that's Bam's love interest. So.
I agree with you, but we'll see.
So yeah.
I just want her design to be fire. I'm not gonna lie to you. That's like a 20% reason I'm still reading this series. I just want to know what she looked like.
I feel that. Isn't Eurasia a lolly?
Yeah, it's supposed to be.
I wonder what.
Yeah.
What is if when Arlene and V fought, Jihad did the other family heads to take? Wait, what? I wonder. Oh, Jihad might have just lied or omitted information, but it sounds to me like naturally V, from what I remember correctly, V and Arlon, bro, who is that?
Arlong Park.
I meant V and Jihad were probably the two that looks to me were like meant to be the leader of the tower. Like they were the two. Maybe they have different leadership styles, but it seems to me like they were the only two that could have ever become like the king of the tower, as other people said it. Because Jihad changed after a certain moment in time for whatever reason. So I could already see them sort of having like almost like a Shaq and Kobe thing. There's a Kobe faction and a Shaq faction back when they were both on the Lakers under Dale Harris and Phil Jackson. Like, could see like that. So I think people just almost naturally aligned with who they were just closer to. But I don't know if they all got involved to that degree. It could have just been Jihad's like, hey yo, fuck this little burger kid, murder. And then Arlie went crazy,
Also,
and then V killed himself. So I don't know.
Yeah, we
I
don't
mean,
and we don't
also,
know if just like we don't know necessarily if like V lost because he was weaker or it's just because like Jihad offered the other family heads a deal they couldn't refuse. Like we don't know any of the details. So like
I mean, also isn't just because I mean, part of it might just because V wanted to climb, and most of the family heads didn't want to climb the Jihad, and they're
yeah,
like, okay, just
I always
chill,
thought it was kind of that.
That makes sense.
like we can rule the land here. Don't have to climb. I'll take that.
I don't know.
Yeah, Jihad might
Their
have got
lives
to a
seem
point.
fucking boring. I could have not lived like that.
But they've been
From
around for a while. I mean, that's why they be doing all that crazy shit. You see what
yeah,
they be doing?
yeah, they're bored.
Edawan be making just
I'm in.
different combination of mixed babies.
I'm in. I'm in. I'm just hanging whatever you can find. That's female.
Yeah, Eurasia just
um.
blowing stuff up with her finger, like
Yeah,
all
they're
sorts of shit.
funny. Vince has a point. Thinking about it, it makes sense that none of these 11 niggas sided with Arlene or V. Yeah, yeah, because like immortality and ruling is probably very enticing. Maybe they're tired. Maybe remember how they always try to kind of say that the administrator of the 135th floor is hostile. Like I don't know if he's actually dangerous or something. Like there could be a myriad of reasons. We don't have all the variables and all the information we need.
Right.
But
Yeah,
It could have been a situation where they couldn't figure out like they just kept like how like the Giants in One Piece they kept doing a stalemate. It could have been a situation like that. They just kept hitting a stalemate with the administrator. They're like, bro, We can't kill him, but he can't kill us. We tired of this. Let's just be done with this.
There you go.
I I honestly think like as Naya brought up the whole tire thing because this is one of the One Piece that like the always like always go back to it when Data Chod tells real Chod Bam is your next adventure and he says something like the real Chad's like if embarking on an eternal adventure if that's my fate I have to accept it. The way he said it I don't think he really kind of gets entire like an eternal adventure doesn't really seem like something something that you really want
Yeah,
to
Not anymore,
maybe
at least.
maybe he realized the tower has no end. Maybe he looked at it and he's like, man, we keep climbing, but we not really getting nowhere.
It's the end. It's the fucking floor in 64 where if you don't have enough stars, it just keeps going. In Mario
Yeah,
64, you can't get to that level. You gotta have enough stars. He's like, bro, it doesn't end. I'm gonna just be king, bro.
yeah. It legit could be a situation like that. He could look at, he'd be like, bro, where does it stop? Where does it end? We've already been climbing for like 100 years.
They said you saying Omar, you saying they procrastinated? Maybe other family heads said they were like, we'll do the 135th floor tomorrow. And here
I
we
don't
are.
want to turn in my homework, Jihad. Come on, bro.
Like, yeah,
Fine.
I'll get the garbage in the morning, and the garbage kept piling. You know, if more stories did little things like this, and you just presented it well, I'll actually take those kind of things in stride really well. Like those kind of jokey motivations, like
Yeah,
like because like for me, like listen, obviously you want to maybe destroy the world or something like this is a little much, but like I could take this in stride. Like I get it, I feel it. Like that actually be laugh. I actually be like, oh shit, just like honestly, fuck it. I mean,
It's like Frieza wanting to wish on the Dragon Balls to be a couple centimeters taller.
that wasn't funny. That was not funny at all. Not at all. I did not chuckle. I didn't smirk. I just wanted to leave the theater, but I paid my money already, so I was gonna watch it. That that was
no,
not the example I was looking for.
we all know that wasn't his original goal. Cause we seen him in Namek wish for eternal life.
Yeah,
So
it's just not
He had
moving.
your character growth. You realize
It's
that's just
it's
boring.
not
What do you
moving
mean?
me. He could be taller in other forms. It's just like just shut it, bro. I just was trying to hear that, but I hear what you're saying though. It's like I'm trying to think of an example in my head where like it's even something you think of like a beef someone has with a character and it's over something kind of petty. I'm like, I like that. As long as you present it in a way that was well, I'll take it in stride. So do y'all really believe that V committed suicide? I mean, why didn't SIU kill him off with Jihad? I think it's probably I think we're the information that we have is either faulty or they just omitted so much that maybe
I mean, oh god,
no, I could understand if your wife went crazy and you lost your child, you died, you had nothing left. Maybe I'm not, I'm not against the idea that V killed himself, but but what if V killed himself for the reason? What if it wasn't just he was sad or whatever? It's like you needed to use his soul to bring back Bam's soul or some shit.
yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah,
there
yeah,
could have
yeah.
I
See,
there
mean,
could
that's
have
like,
been a much more elaborate reason for why
yeah.
V
See,
killed
that's
yeah,
that's
himself.
because
that's kind of what I would
when
say.
Garam is giving Bam like that information, like he can know the events that took place, but she's not going to necessarily know the psychology behind the people taking part in those events
Hmm.
and what they're thinking at the time or the reasoning behind it. All she
And,
knows is that the motherfucker's dead.
and also, you gotta think about this. They just wish for immortality, right? So he could be looking at it, and he could just be like, bro, like y'all don't realize how terrible that shit gonna be. But good luck to y'all. Fuck it, I'm out. Like some shit like that.
Because
Like
I've
he could,
always said I don't want true immortality. I don't want immortality without a way out.
yeah, because he could have been because yeah, like he really could have just. I don't think it was just like, oh, I lost, so I'm gonna just get rid of myself. Like I don't think it was like
Like
that. It
if
was
this
like,
planet, Red Giant comes, whatever, and I'm the last person left, I'm not trying to stay here, bro. Like I'm not trying to be here for thousands of years doing nothing. I'm not trying to float through the air, through space like I'm cars. I need a way out. That's why immortality to me is not always a great thing. I probably would take like a healing factor with like eternal youth more than I would take something like that.
see, yeah. I've always been an eternal you, or I only want to die of natural ways.
Yeah,
I would have to phrase it in a way that like I don't want to for anything to kill me. But if I
that's the
age and
thing.
naturally die, that's fine.
Exactly. Like, like I like the idea that you can't take my life. You know, You can't kill me.
Yeah.
You can't stake me. You can't throw me in the sun to burn, whatever. Right? You can't kill me like that. But maybe like after 600,000 years, I will die of old age at some
You
point.
could be like, hey, I can't be killed, but I only live for 1,000 years or some shit like that.
There you go, something like that. I think I would like to live longer than 1,000 years. Though I don't know though. Life hard, bro. Like
Yeah, I know.
28 years, and I'm ready to sleep for life. So, so I don't know. We'll see. So they said we got
I mean, it could be a situation where, yeah, like you
the
said, if I
Endo
got
law
a way
country's
out,
not bad. I could fuck for my lifespan. I gotta
or you,
breed
or
for
you
my
could,
lifespan, bro.
or you could do so, or you could do some shit like the Lord of the Rings. You be like, you know what? I'm this old. I'm giving you the keys to the castle. I see you on
I'll sail into the west.
Yeah, I'm going to the boat. The Grim Reaper right there. I said, all right, bro, I'm ready now.
I put this ring on my finger, and now I'm allowed to leave. I'm out of here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm cool. I'm perfectly cool with that. I'm like, hey, bro, listen, I've been around for a while. It's tough.
Listen,
I'm out.
if I'm alive that long, my wisdom is immaculate. You're not catching me slipping with none of that shit, bro. I'm on my Vandal Savage gimmick. Like I'm doing shit.
No, Vandal Savage, legit.
That
That man said,
motherfucker.
let's restart. Let's start over.
He is different. I'm.
Every single time I think about that, he's just like, let's start over, bro. We need a restart.
It's like Humanity United, bro.
You know, I would always want to see a villain kind of like that, just to see. I like not like we already got Vandal Savage, but I would like to see a villain that's just like I want to restart just to see. Like he don't even got a reason behind it. He just like
That man, it's like he's the epitome of if at first you don't succeed, try again, and he don't give a shit.
Yeah, see, I don't even want that. I just want somebody to do it just because I'm almost like a nihilistic person, but like just
maybe you need to play some of the Xenosaga, Xeno's Gears, or Xenoblade.
Just be like, man, I feel like dying today. Let's do it all over again.
Because when I explained to some of my friends like what that game is really about, they're like, bro, what? I thought it was like a giant and another giant, and I'm like, that's just like busy work.
that's crazy. Because like
for the
I played
conduit, the low hard, like that's the Trinity processor, like that's all of that is just busy work.
I'll cry. I played some stuff about early age that like made me see different stuff. Like playing Soul Calibur 3 and like Zasamel's goal is to his goals. I'm like, so everything you're doing is because you're looking for an escape, a way out. You try to create a scenario which you could die. That's crazy. But I found how unique that was. I'm just like, oh, this actually don't happen as often as I thought it would. I think you see more stuff like that. He just like I created a whole villain who created the perfect scenarios for him to get a way out of life. Like that's crazy. Like what does that do to the hero? It's like you destroyed my life for this. Like yes, I destroyed your life so you can give me the way out.
I feel that. I want to be a Saiyan. I'll get old at 80, but till then I'm forever 25. Yeah, their aging process be funny. They stay in their prime for like how many years, right?
Yeah, way longer.
What's our
way
athletic
longer.
prime? Around 26 to like 30, right? Or 28.
They're both like 45 or some shit now.
Yeah.
Isn't Vegeta pushing 50 as well? I thought he was 50.
Yeah, he's older. He's older than Goku by quite a few years.
But I also thought he has extra years because of the time he spent in the time chamber.
Nah,
because Goku was dead for so long, his body's not actually as old as time. Go ahead though.
Yeah, but since the Broly, it's like I think they're only about 2 or 3 years apart from each other. That's it.
Okay.
Oh, it used to be way bigger than that. I thought Vegeta was like 7 when Goku.
Because when they showed it, like Goku's like in his pod on like fucking what is it, Vegeta, and he's fine, and then Vegeta's actually like out with Raditz already, and they're both around the same age. So that's the difference between it.
They kind of retconned some stuff because like even in Super now they
retcon.
keep driving back into Super and Bardock shit. I'm like,
yeah,
brother. So, but yeah, I mean, a lot of great moments. I mean, actually, well, I'll talk about this one because it's on screen. I forgot to talk about it. I actually really like the the combination attack that Boric did with his water vapor and the electric Shinsu. I thought that was really good.
All right, I'm tripping. All right, I gotta go because I gotta go to school in like an hour.
All right, man.
I need to go take a shower. I keep avoiding. I don't want to go to school. But I got to. All right, I'll catch you.
It's all good. I need to wrap up soon, but Yeah, this is a good moment. I need more shit like this. I want to see more combination of Shinsu qualities, attack shapes, stuff like that. This was dope. So let's just say, that's. But the read on popping lightning pills, I really like that scene with Ran. Ran has a lot of my favorite moments, to be honest. A lot of really moments I like a lot.
One specific moment in that Rananok fight I like is when they split the ring that they're on in like 4 different directions with that punch.
Yeah, that was good. I also really like when Hua Ryun is like the only real instance that I see somebody really trying to hold Bam accountable is when Hua Ryun's on the train. She's like, "You're acting like Rachel, bro. Like you're sacrificing whatever and anything to get on this hell train." Remember Yura, the little football game they were playing or whatever? She's like, "Bro." Yep. I'm like, you know what? Just really happy to see somebody somewhat hold him accountable, and it's a moment I just haven't really seen done in any major.
All she does is just spit. Like she does nothing else but spit.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, more of that.
Speaking of Calvin, I think my favorite moment from him is when he shows up to the station. He immediately finds out Bam. Like I feel like every other time, like before, like this is the irregular. And he just goes up to him and he beats him.
Like the fact that he could just identify he's different from everyone else. Not that he's stronger or whatever the case is, but this is the irregular. I can sense it because you would think that, like, it does bother me that a lot of these really strong characters are incapable of doing things like seeing like the discrepancy and strike between them and someone weaker than them and stuff like that. Like, I think like it happens enough that I know that it's a thing that some characters can do, but it usually tends to be characters who have already been in the presence of an irregular. So Macheni's saying the feeling I get from that boy is similar to my father's. White making comments about him and his father. You know what I'm saying? I still think that you should be able, like, if I am Commander Abe YZ from fucking the Thing Corps and I'm like a high ranker, I'm this and that, I should be able to be like, yo, Shinsuke and that nigga different. I don't know why. Maybe I don't know why, but it's different. Watch out for him. I don't care if you think you're strong with him, just watch out. Like I think more characters should have that level of I don't say clairvoyancy, but just be able to just kind of sense that, I suppose. So they said Goku might not be much older than his son at this point. I feel that. Any final words to the chatters, to the people?
Bam, go.
CBL. Glam.
Huh? I'm good.
All right, we'll be back tomorrow. Tomorrow, got some Kubera stuff I want to do. I really hope I can get at least the manga and no, I'm getting the revisionist history done this week. I don't give a damn if I gotta do it. Me just if it's just me, Miles, and someone else, so be it. But I would like to get the top 30 manga stream done. So, but anyways, we'll be back tomorrow. You guys be safe. Yer. I'll play my little outro thing.
I'm walking the speed with the drugs, walking